Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm Jason.
No, I'm Chris.
And I'm Bulldog.
And we're I Beat It First. Yay! Anything to crack.
End
I've
of the
only got hard
year.
alcohol.
It's like I've done this podcast before. Oh my god.
It's been
Welcome
so
back.
like Bulldog apparently doesn't use Zoom at all because when he came in and
Okay.
turned on his virtual background, he had the virtual
No.
background from last year's podcast.
Yeah, so no, here's the thing. I have 2 Zoom accounts. I have this one and one for work. Because if work saw what was behind me, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I want
Why
work
is
to
that-
see what's behind you right now, and then just get one guy come in and be like, "So you like fucking bears, huh?"
You know what? I work with a bunch of scientists. There will be that one goes like, "So fucking bears, huh?" It's like, that's like, so what's your favorite? The bear fucking one, right? It's like,
I see you're a man
Duh.
of culture as well.
It ends up being Bull's boss.
Wearing a bear suit.
Oh,
and
man.
choice.
that's how I got my raise, guys. It's been great.
Then they found out that you stream, and then they took that raise away.
Here's the thing. I have, like I've always told people, my work life and stream life are 2 separate things. If they come together, I probably would be fired for the shit I have said on stream.
But so that's the funny
100%.
part is it's
100%.
only separate when it comes to the work side of things. But
yes,
but stream side knows all about the types of work that you do.
they know the work they do. They don't know where I work at.
Which is a good thing because you
Yeah.
don't want them letting anybody know that you
I mean,
do weird fun stuff.
It's such a weird thing in this day and age that I think that we still haven't really come to like the fruition. I guess that's not the right word, but like of what the society will view streaming as into the future. Because it's obviously like right now we can keep it kind of separate because honestly, like Twitch, as big as it is to all of us and stuff like that, or streaming in general, still to the mass public is nowhere near like TV or anything else that would be normally on any kind of hyped media, right? So I feel like we
Yeah.
still haven't gotten to that point where it's just like, hey, if you come in here and say something stupid like fucking bears and shit like that, then we can at least kind of hope that there's not a lot of people that are like, oh, I know that guy in real life, and I'm gonna go say that to him, you know?
Yeah.
Well, like Zill, who had someone that they knew from like IRL, but didn't really know that she was a streamer, came into her stream and then realized it was her, and then
Yep.
text her on her phone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
That's-
my
that's-
work, most of the people know that I stream, so I don't really have a
Uh,
problem with it.
The closest people at my work have found out is like, so what do you do in your spare times? I have said, oh, I used to be a content creator. I always have to put in used to because I don't want them to look up my shit. Or like if they do, it's been the YouTube stuff, and I can easily hide shit from YouTube.
You do have that IG account still that has your Twitch stuff on it, but also has your real name. So you might want to get rid of that one.
that one I do. I think that one. So here's the one. Okay, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, the one that's locked for followers. I'm using that to figure out who all the spam followers are because I'm getting guys from like India, Pakistan following me, asking like, "Hey, I'll send you $1 million if you send me this Apple, like the Apple gift cards." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'll
I
send
want
you $1
you-
million
yeah,
if you send me $25,000 in Apple gift cards.
Yeah,
And iTunes gift cards.
I'm trying to get into a bidding war with like 3 or 4 of them, just to see how crazy I can get.
Money first, gift cards later.
You just give me the money and then I'll buy those gift cards. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gift cards talk,
Easy.
money walks.
Yep. So, chat, if you ever, get one of those spam messages on Instagram, have some fun with them. See how crazy they can get with it. If you get like a couple goats from that too, you're in business. That's when they know you're hooked. When they start throwing the goats in there.
Goats are big money.
Goats
Goats
are
are
big.
big money.
I know for a fact that shit still will, like, all the shit will fly, because I used to do some fucking pranks on spam callers into the office when I was there. So, like, when I was
Yep.
in our old office when I worked for Game Truck, we would get all these spam callers because Cox sold recycled phone numbers to us. So we had all of those set, and I would get calls constantly. And if I had time, if I sat there and looked at my calendar and I had like 30 minutes to spare, I'm gonna keep that motherfucker on for 30 minutes with either a grandma voice or some hillbilly that don't know what he's doing. Got to go out to his shed because that's where he keeps his computer.
My wallet's in my car is my favorite. Like, why is your wallet in your car? Also, I like to play them up as if they're robocalls. We'll be like, oh, these stupid robocalls always have like such a robot voice and know what they're talking about. Like, I'm not a robot call. It's like, oh, see, look how advanced they are. Like, listen to this, Jim. Like, these robots are like sounding so good. AI, wow, it's crazy. I am not robot. I am a real person. No, it is. Wow, look at this. It is so confused. It is like trying to like convince me. I'm not falling for your Turing test bullshit, motherfucker. No way, I know you're a robot. No, I'm not a robot. It's the best.
Oh man. Oh, all right, and that's 10 minutes right there.
End of the world. End of the world. End of the year podcast.
End of the year podcast. I mean, it's not an Ivy to First podcast if we don't go off on a 20-minute tangent at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, like our cutscene podcast that we had a couple of weeks ago, where we sang the J.G. Wentworth song and looked up all sorts of shit. For some, I don't even remember why we did it. It just kind of happened.
It just happens.
The world.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the 2023 Blowout, our yearly extravaganza to kick out the old year and start.
I haven't blown out yet.
Do what?
Yep.
I haven't blown out yet. I just checked.
Oh, good. That's good. Make sure.
Oh God.
That your underwear is clean,
check,
Chris.
guys. Blowout check.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Thank
and
you.
it hasn't gone up your back, because that's the worst, is when it goes up your back. Like, that's just man, it's a pain. But anyways, first up on the order, we're all going to talk about one good or bad news story that came across our desks this year. And I'll start first with the big one, because I was the one that's like, I knew exactly what it was that I was going to do. And that is that Microsoft finally closed its Activision Blizzard acquisition, and Bobby Kotick is no longer going to be employed by Activision in less than 2 days. I'm so happy about this. It just, it's bittersweet though, because he made so much fucking money off of that deal that pisses me off, but I'm just glad he's gone.
Here's hoping this is the last we hear of him, that he'll just take the money he gets and just retires completely.
I hope that
assholes like this never do.
I hope that no other studio touches him, or no other like publisher touches him,
no one
because of all the Activision stuff. I doubt that that's going to happen, but I hope that is the case.
I mean, the only company I can see taking it is Ubisoft if he goes overseas, because they're all about the sexual harassment stuff over there. He'll fit right in.
EA. They're all about fucking their customers, not each other as much. They didn't like it when they were fucking each other, but they really like it when they fuck customers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How does it make you feel? Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that he's gone. I hope that he never comes back. I mean, Reggie Fils-Aimé for the most part has been gone, which that one sucks though, because he was a great guy and whatnot. But I think fingers crossed, hope that he's gone.
Yeah, Reggie was more like, it was about time for him to retire though, from what he was doing. He had been at Nintendo for like a while, so. But you have Reggie and Codex. There's two ends of the spectrum. You'll stay on the Reggie side and never have Codex, someone like Codex again.
Yeah, I really don't even want to talk about the two of them in the same category ever again, because that almost feels like a disservice. Even in like the, hey, people that have left the industry and, you know, as big wigs, you know, I still am just like, no, Reggie left as like, I wouldn't say legend, but it was just like he did his thing, and he left and he left an imprint that wasn't overly negative. I mean, it's so hard to say like positive or anything, but it wasn't overly negative. Where Bobby's just a piece of shit and should like die in fire. Like it's just like obviously we've all talked about this in the past. It's just like, yeah, if you're making like big time money, good job, but seriously, fuck you. And Reggie's just like, hey, good job, fuck you, but go live your happy, peaceful life. Bobby is just like, fuck you, and you know, if you could die in a plane crash, that'd be awesome.
No,
And
I want him to get like prostate cancer or something like that. If he's gonna die, I want it to be painful and slow. That's what
prostate's not
say.
slow. Wait, no, the prostate's slow.
You're
It's
thinking
no,
of...
prostate's not slow. No. Get something that's just like forever torturous. Like because didn't Trebek get prostate?
Was Trebek prostate cancer?
Which one did he have? Because that one's quick. I think like whichever one that he had, I know that they're like, we found out and he's gone.
Well, what was the one that Steve Jobs died of? Pancreatic cancer. That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That might be what Trebek.
I know it's one of those two, prostate or pancreatic. One's fast,
cancer.
One's like takes forever.
Yeah, Trebek did live longer than many people who are diagnosed with pancreatic cancer at stage 4, basically cut the disease on Sunday.
Yeah, I love this. I love this conversation. Video game podcast, everybody. End of the year, good vibes only. Wishing cancerous death upon people.
Yeah,
this is great.
Well, only one. We're only wishing it on one person. Just the one. Because here's the thing: is that even if like he spends all that money to cure himself of it, chances are that prostate's going to have to come out, and that's going to make his life a living hell.
I missed this podcast, guys. I really did.
This is why it's gold. This is the place to come for all your news. What is this? I don't even know what this is.
It's news.
This is news.
I'm up on my soapbox too. It's everything.
There you go. There you go.
All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go because my news was based off a prediction I had last year when we were watching Game Show Awards and, you know, all the conferences and everything. And I said in our group, you know what? This game was going to be mid. With all the hype that around it is going to be mid. And I was fucking right. Starfield's the most mid game I have ever seen. And I'm so happy. I am so happy because all of the hype, all the fanboys who were saying Starfield's going to be the best game ever have to live with a fucking mid game. You're going to have to wait 2 to 3 years for modders to make better.
Well, I mean, if there's anything that I've learned from the hype train people is like they are the hype train people and like almost bandwagony people, where they're like, this is going to be the greatest game ever. I'm going to spend so many hours into it. They'll put in like 10 hours into it, be like, I don't really want to come back, and they'll never do it again. Those are all the people that do the first achievement and then nothing else. And it's just like, and what's crazy is that they will also then still die on that hill. They'll be like, I got my one achievement, and this is still the greatest game I've ever played. And just like, have you played past the tutorial? No, I got it. Just like, well, you don't know what's going on.
Or like the people that played Baldur's Gate 3 and said that it was and they didn't even make it past the character creation.
I would also like to say that Starfield has mostly negative on Steam right now. So I feel like I'm more justified in my prediction of this just being a mid game.
Yeah, because people either got
my
gift
time
cards.
playing it on Game Pass, where I didn't actually buy it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to uninstall this and never come back to it. Play something else better.
Yeah, people either got gift cards for Steam or somebody bought them the code and sent it to them, thinking that it was going to be a great Christmas present, and nope. It's so bad.
Just fantastic.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Good job, Bull.
I agree with you though, Bull. Yes, it was mid. It's not great. It's poorly optimized. It's a steaming pile of shit for the most part, except for the ship creation, because there's some damn good looking ships.
You
can do almost anything with the ships.
Even on Xbox, the ratings for it is now at 3.0, with 1 star is almost at 27% and 5 stars at 32. So I mean, that's already like the crevice hole that you want to avoid in reviews. So
Yep.
yeah. That's crazy. That's even on Xbox, which is surprising to me.
No, because it plays even worse on Xbox.
Well, 100%. But if there's going to be fanboys doing anything, it's going to be on their own platform, right? And that's why I was like,
true. Yeah, that's very true. All right, who's next?
I'll go next, just because mine's stupid. We all enjoyed the GTA 6 leak and seeing all the stuff like that and all the fun that came around with that. Watching that video was a laugh. Makes me both excited and not excited to play the game, just because of some of the stuff that's swarming around it and like it being a live service game and all the jazz like that. But my favorite bit of news that came out of the leak was the obviously parodied tattooed face guy that then went on to sue Rockstar, or at least reaching out and being like, yo, this is fucked up. That's obviously me. You didn't ask me for my permission and stuff like that. And I'm just like, this guy is the greatest genius on the planet of just being like, look, I know that I don't have a case. I know that they're not going to do anything, but if I get any kind of traction, then you're going to give me some kind of payout. And, you know, he's going to spend it on math. Doesn't matter. But it's like, whatever you can get, you take it. And Rockstar is a perfect company for that. Perfect. Like, it's just like, there's nobody that's just going to be like, fuck you money, then Take-Two and Rockstar just being like, you know what, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit about it anymore. And I know they're not the same anymore, but they would be the company that would do it more so than others. Like if this was a Disney game, which obviously it's not going to be a Disney, like that'd be a whole other different story if this was a Disney game, which would be awesome. But Disney would fucking take that guy to court. He'd be like, no, fuck you. We're going to spend $1 billion to make sure that you are not the same person, and we're just going to take you straight on in. Where Rockstar, I could see just being like, get the fuck out of our face.
The only company that this would be better to happen to is Devolver, because they would milk the shit out of this.
First of all, Devolver would have been like, you are now our creative director. They would have hired them like, immediately for this game.
They'd be milking the shit out of it, man.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
It would be the next game conference, the Devolver Direct. He would be up there. They'd call, like you say, he's the next CEO of Devolver, and just chaos ensues.
100%. 100%. I can see the E3 video that they don't do anymore, unfortunately.
The not E3 video.
We didn't even talk about the E3 anymore. But
do we need to talk about E3? That
no, we don't need to talk
about
it.
No. If you didn't know, E3 is no longer. E3 is dead completely.
There you
official.
Go.
There we go. Done.
It's finally been taken out back at the bar.
And we just stole Chris's news, I think.
No. Mine was a different news.
I know, Chris.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh, now I gotta go find something real quick.
Oh. All right, Chris. What do you got, dude?
So I got some good news, talk about in light of all of this mass layoffs in gaming this year, which have been shitty. Games Workshop, on the other hand, gave everyone a £2,500 bonus.
Good on them.
No, we made some money. We got Henry Cavill greenlit his Warhammer 40k series for Amazon, and then possible future Warhammer series on there.
Oh yeah, it's money. It's not just the Cavill one. It's like a whole litany of things that they're gonna do now, which is cool.
Like 40k first, and then we can add on the fantasy.
They're doing the fantasy, yeah. As a fan of 40k, and I'm really happy they did this for their employees. But Games Workshop, if you're listening, if for any reason, make your figures more affordable. I want to play your game again, but I don't want to take a mortgage.
While you're at it,
I want to take out a mortgage just to buy figures.
Guess what, Bulldog? That's how it was back in the day too. It's just inflation.
I know.
I also am very happy with these news, just because of all the series in like game series and like lore series and anything that can be out there. 40k has been around for a very long time, and I feel like 40k, Warhammer in general, really hasn't really gotten that big push into like the limelight media and stuff like that. They've always been kind of like on the back end, where it's just like, hey, you're a nerd or a power nerd if you're really getting into or understand what 40K is. Like even now, like there's more 40K games than ever before. And even then, you'll still have people that are just like, the fuck is Warhammer 40K? I've never even heard of this like before. It's just like, are you kidding me? It's massive, you know? So I'm really excited for Warhammer to really kind of get to it. If they can glob on, if something like this can take on, and while this is probably going to come out wrong, but if they got the Marvel like appeal and were able to do it, there's at least enough lore and backstory and stuff that could be done for years. Now, I'm not saying I want Disney and Marvel to take this on. Please, no more superhero movies. Stop it. Just stop it.
Except for Deadpool. Give me another Deadpool movie.
Yeah, we need Deadpool.
Well, they have the third one. They have the third one coming out. I promise you, it's not going to be great. And then we're all going to be like, all right, let's get out of this thing now. Don't make a fourth. Ryan, if you're watching, I know we're fans. Don't make a fourth one. Just get out on your third. Make Spirited 2. That was a good movie. I'm just kidding. Don't do that either. Don't ruin that. Don't ruin that franchise.
Yeah, because then you don't have the twist of Ebenezer and all of that stuff going on. Yeah. It's just like, hey, here's that asshole from the first movie. Now he's trying to change people.
Yep.
They could.
Which they could do. They could do it.
They could make a series out of it, though. Ooh. Not make them 2 hours long.
45 minutes.
No, 30 minutes.
Actually, now that I think about it, they already have a sequel to Spirited made. It's already been made, and Ryan Reynolds is in it. It's called R.I.P.D. I don't know if you remember this movie. But it does exist.
Wait, isn't R.I.P.D. a Marvel franchise, or is that a DC?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, I have no idea.
It's one of the two. I know that because it's a comic book series before it was that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think it's DC.
That's how it starts. He's just like, we should make this way more efficient.
Yeah, it's a Dark Horse comic. It's DC.
It's DC.
Amazing. Fucking amazing. Oh, so it does become a superhero movie. There you go.
Oh, all right. Well, there's our good and
there's our news.
Bad news. It's just news. News and
news
fuck Bobby Kotick.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so now we're gonna get to our top. Oh,
hold on.
Yes,
we actually forgot something kind of important to the IBIF podcast, and we kind of glazed over just because we have so much to do. But that is, what are you drinking? It's the end of the year.
Oh, yes,
it's supposed to have our fun time. It's our final drink of the year on podcast, so let's talk about it. I'll go first because I brought it up. I had Woodford Reserve, and to make sure that I don't run out in this, what's probably going to be a very long podcast, I brought up the whole flask of everything. So I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's party.
Flask. Okay, because there's people listening to this. That is not a flask. That is a half full 750 decanter.
No, that's a flat
crystal decanter.
Small little thing. It's a small little thing.
Normal people can take is a decanter. For an alcoholic, it's a flask, because you're gonna get through that throughout the entire night.
I made it first.
So I almost used my crystal.
My flask in here.
I almost used my crystal glasses, Jason, and we would have had solidarity. But instead, I chose my Death Star.
Yeah, I have a Death Star ice cube. Does that count?
That counts. Twinsies.
Nice.
So I am drinking. I think it was George Remus straight Kentucky or straight bourbon whiskey. It's Prohibition style. It's pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. I think it has like a 94 point, which is pretty dang good for a whiskey. It's smooth.
My favorite thing when people say Prohibition style is I always like to say, so it's watered down, because that's what it would really be.
No. They made it in a bathtub.
There you go.
Gotcha.
And then it got the color.
They then watered down to sell. Yeah.
And then it got the color by steeping it like tea bags with dirty underwear.
Prohibition, baby. Hell of a time right there. Hell of a time.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Prohibition.
Just remember, Prohibition happened, then the Great Depression happened mid-Prohibition, and then Prohibition got lifted, Depression ended.
We spend so much money.
Coincidence? I think not. Hey, I think Germany still beats us.
Probably. Probably.
And Ireland.
By volume, or by alcohol content?
Per capita?
I'd be
Yes.
curious.
I would say per capita.
Per capita
Probably
of what,
different.
though? By volume.
Like per
Probably-
thousand or something like that. No, like how much money is spent.
Well, yeah, but okay, like hear me out. Like, so the average beer over there isn't like 6 or 8%. It's like 4 sub, and it's just like
Germany?
they're not even in Germany. Like, because
Nah.
the average beer,
Okay,
beer, I'm saying.
average beer.
And
Okay.
so what I'm saying is like, yeah, they probably drink a crap ton more beer than us by volume, 100%. And obviously Germany's not a cheap country either, so they're paying whatever prices. What I'm wondering is like pure alcohol. How much alcohol like consumption is done? Not
Well,
in
they
like
drink a lot
per
of
beer.
schnapps.
A lot? Like my time out there, I
Yeah.
was drinking schnapps like once or twice just to be like, yay, having it. But I drink a shit ton of beer. Shit ton
That
of
too.
beer.
And just Jason is pretty much on the button. The average ABV of beer in Germany is between 4.7 and 5.4.
I mean, they're drinking it like water. That makes sense.
Right. Well, I mean, you give it to him as a kid, just like, hey, it's
Yeah.
pop.
I-
It's like,
To be honest, though, regular average ABV in America is 5. So
right there.
Hey,
Right there.
hey,
Yeah.
we gotta be.
it's all that
number one when it
Coors
comes
Light
to
and
that.
Mick Ultra bringing it down, and
Right.
Bud Light and all those
Yeah.
light beers bringing it down.
I think that we drink a lot more hard liquor than
I would
others.
say
Is what
so,
I'm trying
yeah.
to say.
I don't know. I'd really have to pull those stats up to see. Either way, this is damn good
Cliffhanger.
bourbon.
There you go.
There you go.
Who next?
I can go, I
Chris, you
guess.
wanna- Yeah.
Yeah. So I got some two-turnt daddy.
Nice.
What the
Nice.
Wait,
fuck?
what? Wait,
What
what
the
is
fuck
that?
is this?
I believe that
Two-turnt
says
daddy.
Two turns.
Two
Daddy.
turn daddy and 8%
8%.
beer.
Yep. 8% non-carbonated iced tea.
Oh, so there you go. That's a hard iced tea right there.
Oh my god. 8%
Prepping for
iced
HardCon
tea.
already, huh?
Well, like I saw this, I'm like, all right, I gotta get this for the podcast. Called Two-Turnt Daddy.
Two turnt.
Oh my god, I
Turn-
found it really easily. I found it really easily. I was right. Jason is way wrong.
Oh god.
The average German drinks 12.79 liters of alcohol
Sure.
per year.
Okay.
That puts him at number 3 behind Latvia and Moldova.
This
Wait,
is
we're
by
not-
volume though.
The
I
US
don't like.
sits at 38th
Wow.
with
That is way lower than I thought we would do.
9.97 liters.
There, I guess we got. Come on, we got.
That's
beat
it.
up.
It's just
But-
alcohol consumption by country.
Yeah.
Right, but I think this is by ounce. However many like fluid like amounts that they're drinking, not the actual alcohol content. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, and
Like-
but that's a thing that's like.
But they're drinking
if we
so
go
much
on
more.
average, though, they're drinking so much more, and it's
So much more,
4.7
doesn't
to
even matter.
5.4
Yeah.
is the average ABV. So
They're still drinking way more. 100%. All right, conceded. But it's just like, 'cause I'm
they
surprised.
made us their bitch, just like in Beer Fest, they made us their bitch.
Good on them.
Okay, Chris, does your
Pro-
can have a good story on it?
Prost.
It's got to have a
No, it
good
doesn't.
story on it. Two Turnt Daddy doesn't have a good story on it.
There's no
The
story
story
at
is
all.
that you're drinking two
Yeah.
turnt daddy. That's the
Yeah.
story.
It's got
Yeah.
electrolytes.
It's got
Oh, wow.
electrolytes.
It's got what plants crave, man.
Yeah.
It's the Brondo of alcohol.
Holy shit. Literally, the story is that like, what more do you need to say? This is
Yeah.
you're doing this. You've made this choice. This is where we're having it right now, and I
It's
can't wait to have
basically
some,
Faderade.
honestly. 1000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like you take Lipton iced tea and a black cherry vodka, and that is the most delicious shit that you've ever had in your
Oh,
entire
yeah,
life. And
that's
there
pretty
it
good.
is.
Yeah,
That's what
pretty
he's
good.
drinking right now, I bet.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good. Although tequila and green Gatorade.
That's just dangerous, man. You think it was Gatorade?
That was
Any
fresh
drink you make
beer
with Gatorade,
college.
you're just
Hell
like,
no, I'm not going back to that.
yeah, like this is refreshing. I feel like hydrated all over again. You're just like having 8 of them, and all of a sudden you're just like, what the fuck year is it?
I forgot I had legs.
Gatorade drinks.
Gin and green Gatorade also really good.
After you're
drank
like
it.
12 and you're on the 3rd floor of your dorm room and try to use the stairs to go down, you don't do that anymore. You keep the Gatorade alcohol like separate.
Yeah, but the same could be said about like smoking new strands of weed too.
Fair. Fair.
So, live a little, people. Have your Faderade. Make sure that you're staying hydrated while you slowly kill yourself.
A message from IBIF first.
The more you know.
All right, Paul, what are you drinking?
So I just got back from my parents in North Carolina. My dad had a very interesting drink. He had apple pie, not moonshine.
Oh, apple pie moonshine. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't say it because the person who made it may be in jail.
No. He legally attained this
Yes,
from
he
a
legally
licensed
Yes, he legally
procurement
did.
center.
Which was very good, but very dangerous because you can't taste the alcohol. It tastes like apple pie. Don't drink all of that. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any back, so I am doing this because I'm leaving tomorrow for Chicago. I'm just having some water with caffeine in it.
Why?
To get me through this.
Wait, why are you drinking caffeinated water at 11:15 at night?
You have to go to bed.
Did you want me to be on this podcast or not? Did you
Sacrifices
want me
must
to
be
be on
made.
this podcast or not?
I'm not saying don't drink it at night. I'm just saying you should have drank it like an hour before the podcast and then drink regular water during it.
Don't worry. I've had a lot of caffeine. Don't worry.
Hey, that reminds me. We had conversations multiple times today about how much caffeine it takes to kill a human.
Not there yet.
It's something like 40 cups of coffee a day or something like that.
Yeah.
In order to get the amount of caffeine that would kill you. However, it is only like it's just one. But it only takes like I think it's like 12 cups of coffee to like give you a heart attack most likely.
Yes.
So there's also that.
Been close to that. Holy crap. All right. Fine. The more you know. I beat it first. I beat it first. More news and information for you.
That's not 12 in a day. Like that's 12 in a close enough amount of time that the caffeine hasn't burnt off and you haven't gone through the half-life of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because the half-life of caffeine is like 6 hours in the human body.
Yes.
Fun.
It's weird.
I'm learning so much today.
This is
is
so
fantastic.
weird that I
Great
remembered
podcast.
that one.
That you should write a book, Eric, that's just like so weird that I remembered that ... and then just have be like just full of just random bullshit. Because
Caffeine is
like,
also
you probably could just
controlled
sit down and sit there and just be like,
It is
about this
virtually
random
odorless and tasteless, so you can put it into anything, and you only need probably about a teaspoon, I think it is, to kill somebody if they drink it.
Caffeine.
Fun fact.
The more you
Fun fact for
know.
everybody. There you go.
Okay, now we're gonna start the top five.
We're in top five.
Top five.
everybody.
All right. So the way that we're gonna work is we're gonna go on my screen. We will go clockwise, and then whoever goes last will start it off. So you'll go. Whoever's last is 5. Then they start off with 4. Make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So I'll start,
So,
and then
snake
Chris,
draft.
Bull, Jason, then Jason, me, Chris, Bull, Jason,
Yep.
like that.
Sounds
Sweet.
good.
If you
I'm
ever
gonna forget
if you ever forget, just look at the stream.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the stream now. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what's the order again? Okay.
Wait, who went? What number are we on? Well, Bull doesn't have to worry. He's just got the caffeine to worry about. Jason over there with his half a bottle of whiskey. Already
Who's gonna
dancing.
crash first?
I'm ready to argue. I'm ready to argue, guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
All right. Okay. So number 5 for me, Labyrinth of Galeria, The Moon Society. So if you don't know what that one was, that is an old school dungeon crawler. I believe that the first game, Labyrinth of Refrain, was actually on my top 5 list when it came out. And it's an amazing game, really great story. multiple endings, tons of gameplay as far as like dungeon crawling and whatnot. And by old school dungeon crawler, we mean the first person like move a thing, monsters move a thing, and you have to kind of like play chess with them in order to get out if you don't want to fight. Amazing game, loved the story, loved playing it, highly recommend it to everybody. That is my number 5.
Good
Not
number
bad.
5.
Oh, and great
It's
anime
fun.
style too.
Yes.
The animation in it is really good as far as like the drawings and everything like that.
I honestly think that helped out a whole lot, because if the art wasn't so good, I don't know if it would have like not kept my attention, but I don't know if I would have stuck around for as long as I did too. Like,
The
it's
art
just
is
like, if it
so
was
good that they got rid of the giant tits from the first game, and I still love it.
That's when you know a game is good.
Got you in.
All right, Chris, what's your number 5?
So my number 5 is a game that recently came out, called Last Train Home. If you don't know what this is like a isometric, like team squad based like action game, kind of like a Company of Heroes kind of thing. Set during World War One, the Czech legionnaires at the end of World War One, where they're now having to take a train, an armored train through Russia, then to board a ship to get back to their home, and having to kind of fight through now like this like kind of Russian Civil War thing going on. The story of how everything happened is true, like that is something that actually happened, but this is no kind of a fictional story within kind of set with that historic background.
Based on a true
And-
story.
Yes. Yeah.
based
so
on
like
true
Nice.
events.
true
Yes.
events. Yes.
And wasn't this so? What was like? Forgive me. I remember you playing this, but I don't remember a lot. Wasn't it mostly a walking sim, or what was it?
No. You're thinking about a different game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was it? then?
So
Because this one's
So-
isometric.
I
He
kind of
said
explained
it.
that. Yeah. Like, isometric
Oh, I
action
didn't
game,
know that.
like Company of Heroes.
Yeah,
the
You're
whiskey
controlling
has
the
already hit
squad,
Jason.
you kind of go out.
It's
yeah.
I'm not
already
gonna-
got him.
Yeah.
Let me drink some
We
more.
started
You
out
drink-
with that
you continue to
explanation.
talk, Chris. I'll drink.
Yeah. And one of the kind of cool things is there's an option for you to turn on immersive audio, which is where all the characters speak their natural language. So the Czechs speak Czech, the Russians speak Russian. If there's actually English characters, they'll speak English, stuff like that. So everything else is subtitled. So that's kind of cool. The cutscenes are good. The story is good. As you kind of find new soldiers, get on a train, upgrade your train, kind of, and then go through, try to have to scavenge resources, to try to make it through. And when people die, they die, and you only have one save, so you can't like just go back a save to retry something over. If you lose someone, you
I
lose
can't save scum. Oh no!
somebody. If they die, they die.
I
Do we want to place bets the over under on how many train games are in Chris's top 5?
I'm gonna go.
blink twice, Chris, if it's more than 3.
The over under is 2.5.
I'm gonna take the under.
I'm gonna take the over.
I believe in Chris that he play other games that did not have trains in it. But if I see Choo Choo Charlie on your list, I'm leaving.
Nah, Choo Choo Charlie didn't come out this year. We don't have to worry about
Okay.
that stupid ass fucking
Oh,
scooter
man.
game. Fuck Choo Choo Charlie.
There is some Choo Choo Charlie adjacent.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yes, I know what it is.
Well, we know that one. Yeah. So there's the 2. There's a guaranteed. All right.
Yep.
Whatever. Moving on.
Hold on. Your turn. Number 5.
So for my top 5 is this year, I was like, what games brought the most enjoyment for me? So my number 5 right is Bread and Fred. I had a ton of fun. playing this game.
Whoa. Hang on.
Yes.
Enjoyment? I seem to remember a lot of cursing, a lot of anger,
Okay, here's the
possible
thing.
controller breakage.
Nope, no control broken.
I said possible.
This is not an I am Bread situation. Bread and Fred is different. I had so much fun playing with Kay with this game. It's even though I raged, it was a rage of joy for me. I had fun raging at this game. This is not like I Am Bread, where every single second of me playing that game was me a second before breaking my controller. I'm surprised I haven't broken this controller, even though it's fallen apart several times already.
Oh, so okay. Explain Bread and Fred to our audience
So
that may
Brad
not
Fred
know it.
is the simplest. The simplest explanation of Brad Fred is you are two penguins trying to get to the top of a mountain to do one task to bell off a letter, and your task is just use the rope that's attached to you to get up this mountain. It's super fun. I say if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or a friend that you can tolerate for more than an hour, I would highly suggest play this game. If you don't play this game because your relationship will be ruined.
Amazing.
Also,
But yeah,
it does
amazing.
help to know your significant other or friend's play style, because if you really
yes.
want to beat this game and they just want to have fun and possibly troll the fuck out of you,
Mhm.
probably not the best game to play with them, even if you
No, not
can
at all.
tolerate them for more than an hour.
But yeah, still a super fun game. I would recommend it. And you can play if you just don't have any friends at all and you're just a loner, like most of us in this world. You can play a solo player. You just carry around a rock of loneliness
All right.
as you play the
Is
game.
that- that's what the single player is?
Yes,
Is a
just you
rock?
tied to a rock.
I love that. Because I mean, like other games that are just like heavily dependent on the 2-player thing, like It Takes Two, obviously. But my other one that I absolutely hated was Ibn Ob. If you tried
Yeah.
to play that single player, it was just impossible, and I just
Yes.
couldn't stand that. And
You
I'm
can
forever
definitely
alone.
play Brad and Fred as just solo single player, and they're just like, yeah, cool. You can do the same gameplay. It's just there's a rock. You just have to carry that rock with you.
Well,
I think
and
chat summed it up pretty good here. That Bread and Fred is basically Celeste but multiplayer.
Yes,
I think that's pretty cool.
that's
good.
a good explanation of it as well.
And like It Takes Two, if I remember right, was unplayable single player. Like you couldn't even do it.
You can't. No,
Just like
that game you
Army of
cannot
Two,
play.
you couldn't do it too. It requires two people to play it.
Yes,
which is like good and bad. Like if you don't have friends,
this game is like,
or
hey, you want to
killed all
play
your
it
friends.
with? Yeah, it's like, hey, you want to play this with a friend? Go ahead. If you want to play it solo, you can do that too.
The Rock of
Nice.
Loneliness.
The
I
Rock of
love that.
Loneliness.
That's fun.
All right, Jason, what is your number 5?
I hem and hawed about number 5 a whole bunch. Just because going through back over this year, I've really kind of identified the style of games that I like a whole lot, and it's just like, okay, I think I need to look at what I've been playing and what I really want to focus on. So if my number 5 is going to be a little bit controversial, in which case that it's Atomic Heart. Now, Atomic Heart had a really, really rocky start when it was released. Whole lot of problems and all that jazz like that. I thankfully, saw that and was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother with this game and stuff like that. But I finally picked it up and decided to play it later on this year when a lot of, not all, but most of the bugs, especially the game-breaking ones, were fixed. And what I then was able to experience is actually a working game. So that's my one big caveat there. Now you're just gonna well, Jason, what's up with that? Like, there's nothing super special there of this lackluster first-person shooter. And I was like, well, hold up, think about it. How many narrative first-person shooter games have really come out this year? How many were actually enjoyable? You know what? Atomic Heart was enjoyable. I loved the story. I loved the world. I wish there was more of it. It's not going to be like best game or anything like that, but they had something here that I think is well worth continuing to look at. And as the DLC kind of continues to roll out, might be worth checking out some more there. I'd be definitely interested to see what a sequel would look like if they had a little bit more funding behind it to fix out and iron out some of the bugs. So Atomic Heart takes on my number 5 just solely because the lackluster single-player first-person solo experience games that are out there, and this one definitely was one, and it did a good job at it. I guess now I get to. Oh, Bull, you want to fight?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna fight. I was looking at Atomic Heart on my list for the longest, thinking, is it gonna be on my top 5? Because I played it. I played it when it launched with Game Pass. The thing with Atomic Heart, though, is I just could not get into that story. The gameplay was fun, but the story, it was just, I don't know. Some of the characters, I was like, I don't know if that was a good character choice. The main character is not the best written sometimes. And I think, yeah, there was just some parts of it just I could not get into. It's a fun game, like you said. It's a fun game. I just could not get past some of the story parts.
You're 100% right. And the problem
Mhm.
with it is that a lot of that is explained, like in Endgame, a little bit more,
Yeah.
as you do more explaining and finding, like, and reading all the shit or watching all the videos that they have you find at that one spot in time. And it's just like, you shouldn't have to explain to me why this annoying quirk that this character has
Yeah.
is the way it is, because
Yeah.
I hate every moment of this, and now you've explained as to why. It's just like, well, it doesn't make it better. It still makes it annoying, but now I understand why it's annoying. And it's just like,
Now
so,
I
I mean, I
understand you
get
did
you
this
on
to me
that.
on purpose.
Exactly. It's not just your writers are fucking idiots. It's your writers are fucking assholes, and I don't know if that's better.
Yeah.
And like, so, I mean, I get you 100% on that. And you know, going back through it, because you know, after you beat the game, you can do open world and stuff like that, and kind of like explore and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
was 1,000 times more fun. I think I had way more fun just fucking around open world without like any directive to go through, just playing with all
Yeah.
my abilities now and fighting the robots. That made me wish that that was way more of the game than what it was. Because that first 3 hours of that game sucks. That, like, hands down. Until you get out of the bunker the first time, you're just like, why the fuck am I playing this game? Like, it is not fun. I don't enjoy any of these characters. There's no sense of what's going on here. And then you finally get out and you're just like, oh wait, there's an actual game here. And now I can find into it. So it definitely does take some perseverance. I'm glad that I stuck through it just to finally have that end experience. I wish some of the boss battles were better, all that good stuff. But it's just like, it was one of those games, to your point, that I enjoyed, Bull. And like at the end, I put down my mouse and keyboard and was just like, huh, I didn't hate that. So here we are, number 5.
Yeah.
And it
That's
is
fair.
worth noting that these are only new games that came out
Yes.
from December 2022 to now is
Right.
what we
Yes.
allow.
Only this year. So I mean, like, yeah, you can be like, oh, you know, there's other better first-person shooter games out there that have a better narrative. Of course there are. And if you say Call of Duty in any of them, I'm gonna punch you in the face. But there's
Especially
definitely
the
better
newest one.
first-person shooter games.
Yeah.
I have never been so upset at a Call of Duty game, and I hate Call of Duty. Like, I hate it with a passion. I think the franchise is dog shit now. And even me seeing the
Yeah.
new Call of Duty is like, what were you doing? You had a formula and you fucked it up.
My
It
favorite
blows
is
my- they
that
went
Chris
too
Judge
commercial.
made a joke about the campaign on the video game awards.
And he wasn't wrong.
Then he
No.
wasn't wrong, and the writers took offense to it and
Oh, bull-
vocalized it on Twitter that they took
Yep.
offense to it. And it's like,
when
dude,
you're when
he's
your
not the
own
first one, he won't be the
community-
last.
yeah,
No.
when your own community agrees that the story is dog shit and too short, you know you fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, we
saying
all know what
something
you're
because
getting the
they're
game
all
for, but
short
it's
and
just-
dog shit.
Right.
There you go.
Mhm.
No. The first time, the first rounds of Modern Warfare, when you played those brand fucking new, those
Yeah.
were good.
Yes,
They
but
were entertaining.
that's forever
That's not the reason
ago.
you bought the game.
And
Of
like
course,
one
of
and
course.
yeah.
But that's
and
what
one
I'm
and
saying.
two before you got to Modern Warfare were pretty good too.
To Bull's point, they had a formula. Just like, give us a kick-ass experience so that 50%
Yeah.
of players who just want to play single player can enjoy their kick-ass experience, and then the other 50% that are just going to buy this game just to play multiplayer can do that. And then instead of
And
just like,
they
you know
failed
what?
on
Fuck
both.
it.
They failed on both.
All we
ends.
want to do is just shovel ads and shovel loot boxes in your face, and we don't give a fuck about either experience. And that's all
Mhm.
they're doing now. And it's just like, then I'm not buying them. Like, I'm just done. I loved Call of Duty. I loved Call of Duty multiplayer. I thought that was one of the best first-person shooter multiplayer games you could play on PC or console. I thought it was fun, all kinds of good stuff like that, because you didn't have to get too serious. You could just
Yeah.
jump in and play. Obviously, Counter-Strike, all kind of other ones that you could get serious about and like strategize and stuff. Totally different level. Call of Duty though was just like, hey, if I just want to jump in, I just had a hard day at work and I want to kill some motherfuckers. Guess what?
Yes.
Call of Duty's there for you.
Mhm.
Now you
Yep.
have to sit through like 18 different load screens, watch 8 different ads of them being like, buy our passes and bullshit like that. And then you don't even get through a full match before something breaks. Get the fuck out of here. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done.
All right.
Round 1.
It's time to move
Wait.
on to number 4. Jason?
Number 4. And I think that's still me, isn't it?
Yep. Because now it goes back.
All right. Number 4. shouldn't be a surprise, although the placement might be a little bit of a surprise. I talked about this game being made before it's even a twinkle in anybody's eye. I was just like, they need to make this game. If they make this game, I will buy it. I'll buy it 8 times. I don't give a shit about anything. And when the game was announced, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to fucking go to Japan. I'm going to go to Kyoto. And I'm going to buy this game name from their headquarters in there and then. And that's what I did for Super Mario RPG. And it is hands down one of the best remakes on the planet, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, Super Mario RPG is short, it's easy, and it's not going to break any molds right now. Not at all. If anything, the remake made it more easy. But the characters, even in their old school sprites, were just so endearing that the remake re-upped that even more. And then what they added into it was just enough to make it more entertaining and exciting for you to kind of play through it, just to play through it again. Because you're not going to be challenged by this game whatsoever. But it is so fun. The music is spot on. I was so worried about the music. They didn't ruin it. They made it even better. And they gave you the option to switch between classic and original music. I do wish that there's a way to toggle between classic and new view styles, but they kind of changed too much to really make that possible. So I get why, but I really wish it was still possible. Just because that's so fun when you can just toggle buttons and be like, sprites,
Hey,
3D.
Dragon
Sprites, 3D.
Quest did it.
Dragon Quest did do it. And they could have done it. Is one like
Yeah.
You're right, Eric. They could have done it. I
Mhm.
wish they would have done it. I get it that they changed it a lot, but still. Fucking love it. Not lying. I literally flew to Kyoto and bought this game in Japan because I was so excited for it. I did a lot more in Japan than just this, but I was very excited for this game. And I'm
No,
very
that's all
happy.
you did, Kyoto.
That's
And
all I
he
did.
beat it on the
was
flight
that's all
home,
you did.
probably.
He flew
Yeah.
just to
Did beat on the
Japan
flight
just to
home,
buy this
but
game.
that doesn't matter. Good, new games. It's fun.
Your
It's
wife
a
is
great
like,
game.
don't you want to see like the shrines or go to Sokka? It's like,
Mhm.
nope. I came to Kyoto. Mario RPG. We're leaving now.
Mhm.
One of my favorite games all the time. One of my favorite games all the time. And here it is again for me to play all over again. And it looks gorgeous. And I had super fun still with it. Still enduring. Jokes are still there. The changes that they made are minimum. I'm not a purist. I get it that they had to make some changes and stuff like that. It was still entertaining. And I still was frustrated. The parts where I remember being frustrated. You know how all those memes that come out, they're just like, oh, that one game, but that one level, and stuff like that. I definitely have flashbacks of hating an area in Super Mario RPG, and when I found it, like this next time through, I was just like, "Fuck this area! I can't stand this area." But I still loved it. Still loved
Every
it. Loved
RPG
everything
has
about
an
it.
area that you fucking hate, though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was fun. And of my RPG runs, number 4, Super Mario RPG for me.
Is this the first time that we've had a remake on our top 5s?
No,
Might be.
Feel like
7?
it is.
I know last year. I
Seven.
did-
Oh, no, yeah, we
Final
did put
Fantasy
Seven.
7.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 7 remake. That was a complete redo, though. It wasn't actually a
And it was only the
remake.
first 2 hours.
Yeah,
of the
they
game.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
They took an 8-hour
I-
game and made it 80.
Final Fantasy VII remake is not a remake.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
not-
reimagining. It's a redo.
It's a
reboot.
reimagining.
Yeah,
It's a whole new
reboot.
game, honestly. Yeah.
Reboot.
So I wouldn't even call that a remake.
But I don't think that
No.
we've ever had another one, and I'm not going to fight Jason on it. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I think that this is the first, like, straight up like remake that we've put on. to
And
the
it's a
list.
good remake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we
Good
have
remake.
any of the Resident Evils? I could see myself saying a Resident Evil one of the years.
When is
'Cause
the
2 and 3 were
when
really
is-
well done.
I don't think that you've had a Resident Evil on your top list over the last couple of years.
Yeah, because the only
We'll leave
ones
that
that
up-
have been remade are the first. No, up to 4 now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
before.
We'll leave that up to our viewers and listeners. If you remember or go back to our catalog, email us.
Our
at
Oh,
historians.
someone
IBIF.com.
remembers it, and they'll tell us that we're wrong.
Yes.
It's fine.
They'll tell us.
Oh no, yeah.
Our
they'll
historians.
They'll send you emails like, "You dumbasses! Yeah, you said this back here." It's like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, send an email to
I'll send you. I'll send you a prize. I'll send you a prize. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my number 4. It's actually a game that I'm currently playing right now, primarily because it came out at the end of the year. But that is Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, which it's a Warhammer Baldur's Gate game. It's awesome. I mean, character customization is not as intuitive as Baldur's Gate. It's definitely not on the scale of Baldur's Gate, and I know that the company that Al hates when people like refer to it as a Baldur's Gate type. They're like, please
Yeah.
don't compare us because
Yeah, please don't.
it's not the same. But dialogue is awesome. Gameplay is awesome. The mechanics and everything work really well. Character progression's great. Tons of different characters to choose from that you continually get throughout the story. It's just so far an amazing game. The only knock that I've heard is that some people don't like the ship to ship combat, but beyond that, like I haven't heard a single person say anything bad about this game, and I right now will not say anything bad. I am enjoying
Yep.
every bit of it. The only nitpicky thing that I will have that I've said is that it only has partial voice acting, and this is just my thing. Either have full voice
Or
for
no voice.
all for
Or no
all
voice.
dialogue and everything, or none at all.
Yep.
Because
Yeah, what is
Going-
this? 2003.
well, and it's what is this, a Zelda game? So the biggest problem that I have is that it's like there will be huge chunks of dialogue that is all spoken, and it's done really well. Like the voice acting is really, really good on it, and then it'll suddenly, in the same instance, just like display text, and then you sit there and you wait for dialogue to pop up, and nothing. You're like, okay, which is fine when you're playing the game on your own, like you can quickly read through it. However, I've been streaming it, which means that I have to do voices, lots and lots of voices.
Means lots and lots of water.
And
No.
I've had people tell me, they're like, oh yeah, I popped in on your stream last night. That game makes you talk a lot. Like, yeah,
Well, I
but it's
mean,
fun.
It is by Owlcat, who does like the Pathfinder games, which is kind of
Yeah,
similar, where it's partially voice acted.
yeah, and
But
it's
sometimes
just
you
my
have to do
thing.
voices. Yeah.
But I've also had that problem with Outcat games, especially because I'm a huge fan of their Pathfinder, and so
Yep.
Kingmaker and the Wrath of the Righteous games.
Mhm.
I love those games. Those are the only games I have ever pre-ordered since I think the last time before that was like 2009 was my last pre-orders, and then I was like, no, I'm pre-ordering Kingmaker, I'm pre-ordering Wrath of the Righteous because they're great games. But like Bat says, there's either voice acting or none. And you'll have
Mhm.
these long dialogues or like cutscenes where you're like, okay, there should be voice acting here, and there's nothing. It feels like it feels like you're
incomplete.
missing. It feels
Yeah.
incomplete. Like there's something
Yeah.
missing. And I'm like, God, you can just in your head, you're like, God, I could see like the voice actors just going at it in the scene, but it's silent. Other than some like sounds in the background, it's completely silent. And I understand like Outcat is not that big of a studio, right? But and the scale of their games, they're gonna have to make some compromises. They're gonna have to either be voice
Mhm.
acting in some areas, some voice acting not. But you can tell like that's one thing I hope in their next game they can either get a little bit more of that voice acting into it.
Mhm.
So everyone go out and buy Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Get ready for the type of dialogue that you're going to come across in a Henry Cavill Warhammer 40k show. Because if you think that he's not going to insist on space, futuristic, old-timey English talk, you are
Yes.
sorely remiss.
I can't wait. Blood for the blood guys, skull for the skull throne. Let's go.
It's gonna be awesome. However, you need to prep yourself for it. And there's a lot of made-up words. A
Mhm.
lot of made-up words.
And a lot of heretics.
Lots of
A
heretics.
lot of
Yep.
heretics.
I mean,
Yes.
it's an entire universe where they worship like tech spirits, which is just the AI coding or the coding.
Yeah,
for
tech
it.
spirits, and there's just this guy on a throne. He may or may not be dead. And if something happens to him, that's it for the humans.
It's Schrodinger's emperor, dude. Shut it.
Yep.
All right, Chris, what's your number 4?
Okay, so my number 4 is, I think, what Jason was thinking what number 5 was, which is the walking simulator, basically, which is the Invincible. So it's like a
Ooh.
sci-fi walking simulator, beautiful game. It's based off a novel, and then as you're playing through, it has like a graphic novel companion piece to it, but it only shows you what you've played through so far, so you don't get the spoilers through the graphic novel.
Yep.
We can kind of read that through that as well. But basically, you're like a small team that is on the way back home from a mission, and then but you get sidetracked to this other planet to go check it out as the ship the Invincible is on its way. Then you kind of wake up and you have your captain up in space on the ship, and the other team down here, you're kind of trying to find them, and shit's going weird.
Yep.
Like the Invincible is apparently already there. They've been there longer than you have, investigating this planet. There's weird metal plants. One of your team is like mentally like incapable of doing anything. Like he just like robots are freaking out. Like everything's like weird. You're trying to rescue your friends so they can get back to the ship and hopefully survive as things just going crazy. And it's got a great story. This one is fully voice act, which is nice.
Yes.
But it's just a really pretty, great story. There's some choices in there, but it's I mean, it's a good game.
Do your choices impact the way that the story ends? I don't remember that.
I think there's some different
Yeah,
kind of
there
ways you
are a
can kind of impact
couple.
the story.
So Chris,
Couple of branching
I'm
moments.
proud of you because I've also put the Invincible in my list. Not gonna tell you where, but I've also put it on the list because I agree with you. It's a great story.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a story like this is like the best medium for this type of story.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of interaction to like get the impact of like what's going on. Yeah, I love this.
Kind of
I
similar
love
to
this.
like, I think what was South of the Circle.
Oh my god, South of the Circle is that game I still think about just because of how crazy that story is. Now
Yeah.
with South of the Circle, your spoilers, your choices don't matter towards the end. There's there's two choices. If you pick one, you're an asshole. If you pick the other one, you're either dead or something. You don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of South of the Circle story wise of like the mystery and the intrigue of what's going on. Like you're trying to figure out not only are you like following your character, like your character's following and trying to find these people, finding out what's going on. Yourself is going like, okay, what's going on? How long have I been here? What's the mystery? Can I trust the person up in the space station? Or like, what's going on?
Yep. Can I actually trust this person or not? But I need to try to survive somehow, and what's going on with this goddamn planet? And
that's
why
awesome.
is there?
That I think encompasses why we're all here for gaming in general. Is just shit like this. And I love how this conversation about the Invincible, sprouted off a whole other conversation of the narrative of different games. And I think that speaks volumes. I mean, that's just like, and we're at fucking number 4. Like that's dope. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And it's for those of you that don't know, it's the one that you'll see. It's just a red box with a skeleton in an astronaut helmet.
Yeah, either that or it has like the robot with the many legs and the cannon. And it's like the artwork for this game is incredible. It feels like an old school sci-fi movie poster, and the gameplay almost like plays like that too. Whereas like this old sci-fi movie going on, the scientists in the spaceship are smoking cigarettes. They got the bell bottoms on. You're like, okay, yeah. This is before we understood, like, don't smoke in an oxygen-rich environment. Shit could go bad.
Nah, that's a wives' tale. Don't worry about that. Smoke in the richest oxygen environment that you can get to. Remember, yeah, it loves, like, the cigarette loves oxygen. So make sure that you. All right, Bulldog, what is your number 4?
So number 4 is the game that, as a dungeon master, I love the series, For the King 2. it's the RPG like game. You're building your party. You're trying to save the world from the evil. It's a fun game. I enjoy games like this where I can feel like I'm actually my own D&D party, right? One of the games we're going to talk about is on my list is like that as well. But 40 King 2, fun with friends, fun by yourself. I love the comedy of it. I love the just randomness of the game as well. It's a super fun game.
For those of you that don't
So-
know, Bull is the consummate and always DM, so he never really gets to play D&D that often.
Or I get to play and then my character dies like in 2 sessions. And I'm like, why did I even make a character? If you guys wanted me to DM, just tell me.
Make a new character.
I would just. Oh, here's the thing. Here's this is what they don't tell you about every forever DM. We have tons of characters. We have tons of characters we have made that we've realized we will never play. They're in a binder or a Google Doc, and it's just like it's usually in a folder that says someday characters.
or they have a redeem on their channel that's make a D&D character, and then chat makes the D&D character with them that they'll never get to play either.
Yeah, it goes in that folder. It's like,
for those of you with channel points, make sure you head over to Bulldog's channel and redeem that.
Well, with Kay learn how DM, you can play in her campaigns.
Yep,
yeah, this is true.
So, Bull, I'm really glad. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. You go.
I'm really glad that you're here just for this. For the King, the original one, was one of the games I was very much excited for back in the day when that one originally came out. And when I got it and I played it, I was immensely disappointed. I was so upset about a lot of the tactics and the way that it worked, and it drove me insane with the XCOM-ness of this. It's like 97% hit, and just like miss and shit like that. Like I couldn't get through For the King 1. Even though I was so excited for it. When I saw For the King 2 was coming out, I was just like, should I give this a chance or not? And I was just like, I'll get through my play log, and if I ever have a chance, I'll get to it. Obviously, that hasn't happened. Hearing you talk about this in your top 5 really makes me happy because it's a great game. The concept and the view and the visuality of it all is there. It just pissed me off so much in the original game. So if the 2 is even better, go ahead.
I will say, if you're not a fan of the XCOM style combat where it's percentage based, right? And where even you look at it, it says, 95%, I can't miss. And it's that 5%. They always get you. 5%. Everyone who's ever played XCOM has always had the shot. You're like, I just need to kill him, and this round's over. It's 95 or 98%. He's like, he's not gonna miss. This guy hasn't missed yet. He's my best character. He's not missing. He pulls the trigger, miss. You're like, what just happened? And it's a chain reaction where he misses, and your next character misses, and your next character misses, and your next character, and then the enemy shoots, crits, kills him, and you realize, fuck, I'm an Iron Man. There goes him, my best character.
There he goes. My best character. One shot in the last 100. This is the one he misses, and now he's gone forever. This is good.
So if you're not a fan of that type of combat, then 40 King might not be your choice. But I will say, if you like, the fancy aspect, if you like, creating your own party, silliness, randomness, that's 40 King 2 for you.
All right. Well, Bulldog, it's now time for number 3.
My number 3, we've already talked about. It's The Invincible. To just go back and just talk about this game anymore, because look, it needs. People need to play this game.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Once again, just to go on this is more about the publisher and the publisher 11-Bit Studios, who have been putting out some amazing games in the last couple of years. The developer Starward Industries, amazing, good job. You've made create an amazing story. The Invincibles is that sci-fi. It hits that sci-fi itch I've been wanting. Right, I want a good sci-fi story. Right, I don't think we've had that in a while. like
No, it's
in
all
gaming.
it's all neo sci-fi bullshit
Neo
with
sci-fi, yeah. But
explosions and stuff
This
like
is
that.
like traditional sci-fi.
I want like a sci-fi story like um just like old school sci-fi, monster of the week, they're on a mysterious planet and weird shit's going on. That's the type of sci-fi I want. And that's what this gave me. It gave me an amazing story with an amazing experience. I actually cared about these characters, and that's hard to do. It's hard to care about characters in video games sometimes if they're not ring great or well enough, right? You easily hate a character. We all know some characters we just hate.
Crispy critters.
But the Invisibles had like the story is just like it has you on the edge of your seat the entire time. You want to know what goes on, and when you get to that close to that ending, you're like, was I right? Is what's going on? Come on, am I right? Let's go. Let's keep going. And it's like you don't want to put it down, and then you realize you're like, oh shit, I'm like 10 hours in this story. I need to step away. I need to think what's going on here. It's an amazing story.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I was playing it. I first started playing it on like I played demo originally, and then I was playing a review copy during our 24-hour extra live stream. We're like, okay, I need to kind of stop this right now because I really need to focus on the story, and it's like hard with on the 24-hour extra live stream, whereas three of us are like in the same room, we're doing different stuff, and like
that's literally I stopped streaming because I also streamed this game, and I was like, I need to just focus on this game. Like, I can't stream this game and focus on the story. The story needs to be focused on right now.
I need sound up, just fully focus on the game.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, Invincible. Great job, guys.
Yep.
I can't wait to see.
I can't
wait to see what the next games Star Wars
does. Playing on your phone.
No way we're gonna have any other game be mentioned more than once on
no,
this
not
podcast.
at all.
No way. No way.
That would never happen.
No way.
We might start some double ups again, like at the same spot too, coming up. Jason, what's your number 3?
Oh, I'm next. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. So I know I'm joking. So Super Mario RPG walked back in the day so that Sea of Stars could run, and Sea of Stars just blew my mind in a way that you could make pixelated RPG all over again, turn-based, like bring it back to the forefront all over again. Super Mario RPG is great, fun, all stuff like that, but Sea of Stars had just the strategy down, the characters down, the world building just so much further involved into this than knowing that it's like a prequel to The Messenger and stuff like that. Just really just takes the cake, and it is without a doubt one of my favorite. Oh, go ahead.
It's a prequel to what?
The Messenger. The prequel is the wrong terminology. It's like it's
that same world.
It's the same world idea of
Messenger, the side-scrolling Metroid. Yeah. Holy fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And both games are awesome, so play the Messenger if you like more action.
Yeah, and the Messenger is on PlayStation Plus right now too, so anybody with PS Plus can get it for free.
Yeah.
I think the same thing with Sea of Stars. I think that
Sea of Stars still is too, yeah.
So, I mean, it's fantastic. And if you like turn-based RPGs and you're looking for a reason to get back into it without it being boring, I know a lot of people are like, turn-based is so boring, stuff like that. This one has you back into it. Super Mario RPG brought in the active time battle, where you have to time your hits and all that stuff like that. Sea of Stars then perfected it and took it as just like, hey, we're going to take it to a whole nother level of your guarding, your defense, your magic, your everything that you can do, being time and active trigger-based. So, even though they're turn-based battles, they are very much action turn-based battles. You have to be paying attention. You don't just select attack, prey over and over again. And it works out very, very well. Storyline is fantastic. I definitely was tearing up at parts of the storyline. No spoilers. There's parts where it's just like redemption, parts of non-redemption, parts that are predictable that you can see coming, but it's still just enough to just tug at the heartstrings just a little bit because it's just good writing. Obviously no voice acting whatsoever, which is what we talked about, which is great because hey, that's okay.
Yep.
Bring
None
it
or
to be in
all.
there.
None or all, people.
None or
Yep.
all. None or all.
Yep.
100%. Here's a nunner. Beautiful, beautiful art. From the lowest enemies to the world map, everything is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. There's parts of this game that I'm just like, normally pixel art to me is just kind of like, yeah, it's cool, it's nice, it's whatever. But there's definitely parts of this game that are screenshot worthy, and it's just like, wow, they did a really good job here in what it is. So that and a kick-ass soundtrack brings the trifecta of an absolutely epic RPG, and well worth your time.
I played some of it. Ronan
Yep.
played all of it. He really liked it. I've liked what I played so far. I just got sucked into Rogue Trader. I started playing I finally started playing Sea of Stars late because of Baldur's Gate and all sorts of other stuff. And then I was like, ooh, Rogue Trader, and then it's like Sea of Stars has kind of been put to the side. So because I've only played a little bit of it, I didn't want to put it on the list because I've played like just a tiny amount in the grand scheme of things. But so far, really great. Ronan loved the shit out of the game as well. It helped that I got him to play it by telling him that Uncle Jason played it and really liked it, so he'd probably like it.
You know, Uncle Jason's a cool uncle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely need to play this. Unfortunately, it came out in a weird month. It came out in August, and I just want to read out the list of the games that cover just a couple. Baldur's Gate 3. There was the Chainsaw Massacre game, Armor Core 6, Blasphemous 2. Yeah, there were so many good games that came out that month that it feels like it just like it fell under. It kept like getting pushed down, and it just didn't get the recognition. And I feel bad because
there was one mid game that was very hyped up too.
Yes,
you mentioned.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Well, and at least it got the recognition, though. It did get the recognition.
It got the recognition, which I'm glad.
At the bullshit video game commercial set.
Yeah.
At least it won an award.
The 3-hour, commercials.
The 3-hour Jeff Keighley circle jerk.
You know what? I will thank Jeff Keighley for giving me Twitch ad revenue during all that. Hey, good on you. Good on you for that. You gotta love the ad revenue sometimes on Twitch. That's a joke. I fucking hate it. But yeah.
Yeah, you bamboozled me too when I came into your stream. It was like, oh no, we're just watching the trailers. All right, I guess I'll hop in like stream chat. God damn, you're actually watching the fucking thing. No, God damn.
You could have hopped out at any time, Chris.
You could have hopped out at any time.
I did actually leave for a while and go play Path of Exile and just stayed in VC.
People don't realize this. I had the thing up. People don't realize that this is when I was starting to get into Vampire Survivors. I had that playing as well. I was not listening to a thing that Keighley was saying.
Nor should anybody.
No.
I would come back to attention when I saw a game trailer come out, and then when I saw it disappear, I was like, cool, back to it.
Yeah, and the 30 seconds that they give the actual like award winners to say thank you.
Yeah, bullshit. That was super bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Sea of Stars is a game. It's on my radar. It's on my list. It's a game I'm going to play hopefully next year, right? Just knock it out and start playing that. But yeah, when it came out, if it had come out in any other month, I would have been I would have been playing it.
I think
I full on had to make sacrifices. I had to make sacrifices for Baldur's Gate to play this game because I knew that this one is going to be like Super Mario RPG, and obviously, as we've already discussed, that's a weakness for me. So it's like I gotta focus on this one. And if I can just give one spoiler that's like just for your betterment, because I heard two or three people on forums like do this, which I don't understand how you could. Once you beat the game, keep playing. Like, don't just be like, oh, credits, turn off the power and leave. Like, keep playing because there is a second ending, and that is the true ending.
Oh yeah, everyone knows when it's a JRPG, you don't just
keep going.
Just because the credits have rolled, you don't stop playing the game.
You mean like
you watch
like Dragon
every
Quest
bit of
11?
Yeah, Dragon Quest 11 is a bigger one. Holy fuck, Dragon Quest 11. Even Final Fantasy 16 had like this whole thing of just being like, don't just turn off after the credits. Like,
Dragon Quest 8 did the same thing too. And
I mean, they to Bull's point, JRPGs, you sit there and you wait, you watch.
Because there's always gonna be like, cool, I beat the boss, but who's really the final boss of this game?
But who's
Have
the
I
real
beat
boss?
God yet?
There you go.
I have not punched God in his big dumb face yet.
Not true JRPG if you don't punch God in the face. That is
Persona
very
has taught
true.
me. Persona has taught me. Yes, I have fought a final boss. I have not fought God yet. And until God is dead, the game must continue.
Yes.
Game must continue. You must be all powerful.
Yes.
For anybody that wants to play that game, we talked about it. It is on PlayStation Plus, but it is also on Game Pass as well. It
Yes.
launched on both platforms at the end
Which
of
is-
August, so you can
Fuck
still
it, guys.
play it
Just
on
go
there.
and add these to your library. Don't even don't even
Yeah.
play them. Just add them to your library so they get money. Like, just
Yep.
go do
Yep.
that. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, like I need them to be funded so they continue the story.
Support.
Yeah,
Support them.
it's an indie dev.
Yep.
They won an award. It is that good of a game. There were a lot of really good indie games that came out this year, and they got the cream of the crop of it. And it's a good game. Like I said, I probably would have it up on my list if I played more of it. I just didn't have the
Yes.
time to play more
Mhm.
of it. So
I feel like if I had played it, it would have been on my top 5. Like, hands down,
It's
it would have
good.
been on my top 5.
It's enjoyable.
all right, so my number 3. This is a game that was a long time in the making because, well, the one before it was a really long time in the making. This one didn't seem like it was as long because it only got announced 2 years before it finally came out, and that's Final Fantasy 16. Amazing game. The only reason that it's number 3 is the ending, and not so much the ending because the ending was good. But it was there was no final labyrinth. There was no final area. You just immediately you fly up, big cutscene, you get shot down into the castle, and then you go straight into a 3-pronged boss fight. It's
Yep.
long and it's a good boss fight.
Epic. Yeah.
It's an epic boss fight, but Final Fantasy always has that last dungeon, that last
Yes.
area that takes you hours to beat in a lot of cases. And
Yep.
it missed that sorely. But the rest of the game is fan-fucking-tastic. It is amazing. It's beautiful. It's great story.
Mhm.
Great character development. It plays well. The combat's really good on it as well. There's not really a lot that I can critique other than small things about story progression.
Yeah.
But the summon fights that you have were fucking epic. And you get to the first one and it's epic. And then they just keep getting bigger and
Mhm.
bigger and bigger until you're fighting something that's half the size of the planet.
I can't
Yeah.
help but disagree, Eric. Like, I agree with a lot of what you've said, a lot, but there's a lot of nitpicky that I can do for this game. And,
There's
a big part of it
nitpicky,
is that
though.
it's not nitpicky, though, because the world is huge, but your need to explore it is minimal, if not zero. The need to go collect stuff in this game or find treasure is unnecessary, if at the very basic. Like, there's no reason for you to explore every single area at all, especially in endgame. Like, by the time you get to some of the last areas in the game that are huge areas, like big open areas, just like, hey, yeah, go explore it. There's zero reason to do so. Like, zero reason. Like, hey, I can go find out what this sparkly bit is. Oh, it's more material that I'll never use because there's no need for me to do it. I can't upgrade my gear any further. I can't use this to level up anything. So there's nothing more for me to do here. Absolutely pointless, and it's a wasted opportunity. Absolutely pissed me off about this game because it's just like there's so much more that you could have done here in any Final Fantasy game, to your point. Like, it's just like there's a lot more that you could have had there. Also, combat was fantastic. Easily some of the most fun and fierce combat you can have in any kind of RPG game. However, your teammates are 99% worthless,
Yes.
and you don't have any strategy behind them. Even
No.
your dog that you have barely any command over was barely helpful at best. And
you could
yes,
kind
there
of
were
tell
some
them to do
times
something, but yeah,
you
it
could
wasn't
kind of
really
tell.
much.
And yes, there are some times where you could have like your girlfriend cast some Shiva stuff, and it was just like, oh, good thing she did that because otherwise it would have been toast. But that was so few and far between. I mean, when I talk about XCOM bullshit, it's just like, hey, can you like cast some like ice magic like anytime soon? Just because we can combo with that? Oh, thank you for finding. Thank you. I forgot. We're equals, of course. Yes. Love you. Thanks. Like, it was just like, come on, give me the ability. Like, they've done this in other Final Fantasies. They have gambits. We can set like priorities. Why can't we have that? Like, it's just like, I wanted more from this game to make it more RPG. Like, they had a lot of there. I agree with you, Eric. Storyline, fantastic. Those summon battles, phenomenal. Like, I was standing laughing at the Titan battle. Like, standing laughing. Like, I was just like, like a kid. Like, it was just insane. Like, literally dodging, like, in IRL punches and shit like that. Like, a lot of fun. But there was just so much of this game that I would have improved upon if they were to be like, hey, we need some random drunk ass gamer to tell us more about this game. And that would have been like, hey, here's what you need to do. Also, don't put the worst fetch quests in the last part of the game. Don't do that. Just put them, pepper them. You can pepper them. We all understand fetch quests are going to happen, but don't pepper them at the end of the game, mixed in with some of the best storyline side quests. Like, those are some great side quests.
Or, as you and I talked about over the weekend, force the brother and girlfriend side quests at the very beginning that you have to do them. Like, don't even make them side quests, make them quests that then make you really want to do the side quests. Because I did the brother, and then I saved the girlfriend for last, because I was like, this one's going to be the best one. And it was a really good story, but then I had absolutely nothing to do with her. I couldn't go around and do any like major battles or anything like that. She joins my party just so that I can be like, all right, we're going to go up to the giant floating thingy. Bye.
And you're staying here. That's right. Anyway, yes, Eric, good game, but
I mean, we talked about
Invincible.
the nitpicky things. We talked about the nitpicky things. I didn't play Invincible yet. Again, because it came out
not Invincible the game. It's not Invincible. Like, not be.
No, it's number 3.
Yeah. But still, I'm saying like for what it was, there's a lot that could be wrong. That's still wrong.
But it was a fantastic game overall. I enjoyed 98% of the game. The nitpicky stuff I just kind of looked over. Killing of a major character less than halfway through the game, very like Erisy vibes, but then didn't make it feel like everybody else forgot about him. Like, it actually made it feel like nobody could forget about them. Whereas like Eris, Cloud remembered, but nobody else really had any lingering things in Final Fantasy VII. So I really enjoyed that. And as much as it sucked.
You're right, because what pissed me off more is that they killed the best character. And unfortunately, that was true until the very end of the game. Like, it's just like, yeah, if only Sid were here. I agree. Well, let's go fight God.
To be fair, as someone who's playing all the Final Fantasies right now on their stream, it's gonna be a while till I get to Final Fantasy 16. I already can tell that my feelings are going to be similar to Final Fantasy 15 when it comes to combat and stuff. Combat at 15, fun, but there were moments where
you had more control over your sub characters in 15 than in 16.
There were times you felt like your companions were doing their own thing, but you did have a lot more control. If it's less than 15, I can already tell I'm gonna have an issue with that. I've seen the combat. I'm trying not to spoil myself on 16 that much. I've seen the combat and I'm like, yeah, I see what you're going for. But if my companions get in my way or don't do the shit I need them to do, I will see how I can rage very easily at this game.
They won't get in your way, and for the most part, you actually don't really need them.
You don't need them.
Yeah, they're there because it feels weird of you going off on your own for a hunt every time.
So it's 13.
Yeah, it's more like 13.
It's closer to 13 in that idea. Like, but what sets 16 aside is that the combat is so good and so customizable to your play type. Yep. Like, however you want to play this game, you can have a summon combo that'll make it comfortable for you. And so you
Okay.
have to, like, if anyone that says the combat sucks, it's because they didn't test.
Or they
They
didn't
didn't
get
test
far
anything
enough
to
into the
do.
game to
Yeah.
Or
get more of
they only
the
played with one.
Archons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even still, once you get Phoenix and what was the second one?
Yeah, but that's like 10 hours into the
you-
game.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, well, okay. So the fanboys are like,
Here's
"Fuck
the-
this! I got my one
here's
achievement.
the
I'm out."
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone says
Mhm.
like that's 10 hours into the game, if for any other game it's like, yeah, I'm not playing 10 hours.
That's
For
a
Final
sixth of the
Fantasy
game.
yeah, but
Final
for
Fantasy game.
Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
that's just normal.
That's
But-
normal.
Yeah, yeah,
Final Fantasy
that's-
is just like that should be the demo. That should be
Yeah.
like what
That's-
the
you're
first
just-
5
you're-
minutes of the
you're
game
just
are
wetting
for
your
any
appetite at
normal
that point in
game.
that type of game.
Yeah.
But even that,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't that the combat was bad in that 10 hours. It's just that you didn't get to the fully customizable section of it.
Yeah.
You only
Yes.
had one or two to pull from with it. Whereas
Which-
once you start
which
getting
each
everybody,
summon-
And
you
I
get
think
so
I
many.
talked to you about that, Jason, earlier when I was watching you play or something like that. It was like, yeah, it's like it's good. It's just like you don't have everything yet, so you got to
Yeah.
get to
And
that point.
once you get like even the single summons, like even the Phoenix, like
Mhm.
you can then choose the skills you want to upgrade and go from there. Like there's each subset has its own skill set, and you can do whichever ones make you feel comfortable. They don't reward or hinder you from doing that. So it's just like if you want to use long distance or defensive skills, go for it. There's no
Yeah.
benefit to either way. It's just then play it well. Like if you play
And-
like shit, you're playing like shit.
and the fast refund. So where it's like you put all this EXP
Don't like
into
it,
this
take it
one
out.
skill, and then you're like, oh, but I like this skill. I want to try it out at max or something like that. You can refund everything from that one and immediately drop it in.
Yeah.
Like they made it super easy, super customizable. Like there's so many good things about it that it overshadows the bad things enough to make it so that it doesn't knock it off the list. Puts it in the
Mhm.
middle of the road.
Yeah.
For it. And it's weird to say it's like, oh, number 3 game of the year is like middle of the road. I'm like, but it is middle of the road for there's a couple of
It's
games that
for-
are ahead of this that are
Yes.
leaps and bounds over this in my opinion.
Middle of the
For-
road of top of the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be
Yeah.
fair,
You're in the conversation, you
2000
should be happy.
yeah, 2023 there were some amazing games that came out this year.
Fucking amazing games.
Yeah.
For this to just being your top, like even for this to be in your top 5, it's already impressive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But there were like there's some amazing games that came out this year. There were some shit games that came out this year as well, but there were some amazing games that came out.
Yeah.
Can't have shit games without good games. So
You know,
Embrace that, whatever.
You know,
Well, if
we
if
may have
everything
to-
is amazing, nothing is amazing. You got to have some shit to compare.
That's it.
All right, Chris, what is your number 3?
So now we're getting to like my solid like top 3 that I struggled of where each one fits. A little bit of going back and forth of where to rank this one or this one. Because I knew these 3 games were gonna be on the list. So this one will be my second train game.
I'm
Number
still
2.
on the under.
It's number 2.
Out of
Still
three.
under.
He's,
Still-
he's at 3.
I'm still on the, I'm still
No,
on
he's
the
at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is my second train game. But it's gonna be Station to Station. Game I played
Okay.
demo. I actually play tested. My name is in the credits for it. And played the game, came out, did some. Also another play test for an update where they did the Halloween update with Choo Choo Charles. So that's where the Jason thing comes in to
Yeah.
play. But it's a puzzle game, but there's not like one way to solve the puzzle. So what you get is you get a map, and you unlock certain little different areas where you need PlayStation next to, and connect the trains, and complete challenges. But the way you lay the tracks, the way you kind of order things is all up to you. There's custom modes, a lot of stuff. Very chill, voxel-based trains. But even though it's voxel-based, it's really pretty. Like the lighting on is great.
Voxel can be very pretty.
Yes.
If it's done well, yes.
Yes.
Voxel
And this
can-
is a
Voxel can
very
be
pretty game.
There's a
I
game
mean,
that
you
came
can
out
pet the
like 20
dog,
years ago.
interact
called,
with the animals.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I don't need to talk about 20-year-old games. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you do. No. Which game are you talking
no.
about?
Yeah.
3D Dot Game Hero.
Yep.
Like it was full on
Oh, yeah.
It
voxel.
was a PS3
Absolutely
game.
fucking gorgeous. Yeah.
Mm.
And it was just like, my God, like who would have thought that this game that's just a bunch of blocks would look so pretty? And I still think it lives rent free up here, being like, man, that was a pretty game, and it's for this exact same reason you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's a great game.
It's super
Yep.
pretty. It's fun. It's basically building your own like little model train set kind of thing. Like you can just adjust the tracks as you want. You get little cards to play to get different benefits to try to get your cash goal or your string goal or like your base map goal. They're adding free updates throughout the year. They recently added photo mode and some other stuff like, and some new levels, a new area. Like they're continuing adding on with free updates. Developers are super awesome, super kind, willing to help you out, and it's it's fun. And it's like you can just play it for a little while, or you can just lose yourself and play for a long time.
And back to the voxel aspect of it, it allows the game to be completely 3D, look beautiful from way far up. You can zoom way out and still see detail, and then zoom way in, and it's still pretty as shit.
Yep.
So,
And if you know something on the train stations and stuff like that, there'll be a clock on there. That is adjusted to the time on your computer. So it
Nice.
is your time.
So cute.
There's
Oh.
little Easter eggs and like levels like that. Like some levels will be like, that mountain looks like a dinosaur. Yep. Because that's the way they designed it. We
or
can also do
like,
custom levels, which are all randomly generated.
yeah, or mountains shaped like dino nuggets.
Yeah. I mean, that's really what they are. They're dino nuggets.
God,
Yeah.
what nuggets? Now, why'd you say that?
Sound like that too.
The only drawback that I had with that game, and it was a good game, is that they force you to go through all the puzzles to get to fun mode, where you can just go and make. Because I
unlocked
just
mode.
want to make. I want to make my own train thing in my basement, basically, without spending all the money to make a train thing in my basement. And I have to go through so many levels to get to that with constrained requirements and things like that.
I thought they might have changed that. You just have to go in the settings when you're in the level, maybe.
If they change that, I'm going to go back to it.
Yeah. But yeah, because they do have like one where you can go in and do like a free mode where you no worries about how much this track costs. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what I want. I want to just have fun.
Little train tracks and everything, make it pretty and however you want.
I want to do terraforming.
I don't know if they don't have that yet. So.
They should. It's voxel. That's part of the reason for voxel.
Yep.
But so like those are the things that they
might
need
be when they need to do a future update with a map editor.
Yeah. They need to do that. Like there's just little things that would just make it more fun. And it's a fun game. I just
it's a great game.
have it on my list because it was fun, but I had games that I much more enjoyed.
Yeah. And I talked about this game so much that it has to be on the list.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, even if this was like, an in-between game, Chris has talked about it so much, he has to.
Not even just on podcast. Like every time that we just talk to him in general, it's trains.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Become a train streamer.
Totally agree. Again, Spotify ruined my playlist aspirations because I couldn't easily just make a playlist of everything that had to be, or that had the word train in the song title or was done by train. They did not make it easy to make a playlist. I wanted to make the ultimate train playlist, but Spotify would not let me easily do that. But the rest of it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, Chris.
So this might be more true RPG than my number 1. For one simple fact, and it beat out number 3 because it's a complete story. And kind of similar along the lines, but it's Dredge.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, it's a fishing RPG where you're on a little fishing boat. It's got horror aspects to it. It's like a horror fishing RPG kind of thing where you can upgrade your boat, kind of get unlock different things to do on like little quests, all that kind of stuff, and try to avoid the DC monsters so you can unravel a mystery in this very interesting story, and it's a lot of fun. I had a really good time, and it's another game like Station where I talked a lot about.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, yeah, that did come out this year because it came out in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about going through and making these lists is going all the way back.
Way
Yep.
back.
Oh
Or, like,
shit, this did come this year. That can make my list.
Well, Jason and I had a conversation about whether or not Horizon Forbidden West was on there. I'm like, you can't do it. It was last year. And he's like, no, it was this year. I swear. And then it was September of last year. And he's like, shit.
Feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah, I'm glad someone put Dredge on their list. Dredge, I'm glad that Dredge exists as a game as well. Because nothing is better than just a game about a normal job, but Cthulhu is involved.
It's a normal job, but Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I like that setup of just generalized. Like it's just like, I'm a stockbroker, but Cthulhu's involved. It's just like,
But Cthulhu runs the FTC.
Dude, I trade in blockchain. It's Cthulhu coin.
Cthulhu.
This is gonna get weird.
I feel like any of like the Eldritch horror stuff just makes the story better, right?
Yeah.
Where you can just add that mystery of what the fuck is going on. There's a weird shit. You just say Cthulhu. He's like, okay, I got you. You got me now. I'm hooked.
But then that's also the kind of thing, like anytime like you're actually on like the ocean where I can't see land, like I can't see the bottom where this is. Like I have no idea what's below me. There's that horror aspect in that, and it just kind of brings that out. Like
my compass broke.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Don't be out there at night.
Yeah. I feel like Dredge deserves a lot of credit for making a fun game. It's it's hard to just get people inside. It's like, oh yeah, you're a fisherman. You fish. Go out there and fish. It's like, yeah, Dredge was able to be like, yeah, we gave you a fun game with a very interesting story. Have fun.
So that brings up the question: is Cthulhu actually a god, or is Cthulhu just a really powerful kaiju?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the god of the kaiju.
You can't tell Cthulhu what he is not. Let that man be who he want to be, or she, whatever, or they. Or it, or every.
Choose a they them.
Pretty sure Cthulhu's gonna have a hard time on Tinder, so I'm pretty sure it's a they.
I'm pretty sure Cthulhu is the Cthulhu.
The Cthulhu. Yeah.
They them. It's a the.
The definite article. The.
So what are your pronouns? The.
Which was great. They did that in the first Doctor Who special that they did with David Tennant. They're talking to this little cutesy like alien. They're like, and he says that, or he says he, and then they call him out for assuming gender. He's like, oh, you're right. He, she, they. What pronouns do you prefer? I prefer the definite article the. I am the meep. All right, Bulldog. Number 2.
Number 2 on my list is a game that I actually didn't think would actually be on my list anywhere. I am not a fan of Twitch trend games. And that what I mean by that is games that make it big on Twitch because a bunch of streamers are playing it. I don't usually like those types of games. But I will give an exception to this game because I've had the most fun playing this game with the most laughs. I'm going to give it to Lethal Company.
Oh!
Yeah. I had so much fun with Lethal Company. I enjoy it. I know. I am a chilling Twitch streamer.
2.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I thought really hard about this, right? Because I was gonna make The Invisibles number 2, but I had to go back and say which game did I have the most
You
fun
enjoyed it the
with.
most. Okay, I
Would
get you.
enjoy it the most. And Lethal Company is just, it edged it out just by a hair.
Because it's super fun. It's
It
like,
is- it
is
it's
super fun.
impossible. It is impossible not to have fun in that game. playing with
Unless you're
friends and
playing
stuff
with
like
a
that.
bunch of assholes that only want to go in, get the shit, and get out.
Or
Yeah.
playing with randos. Like
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
randos is obviously always a bad call, no matter the game. But even if you're playing
Yeah.
with friends that just want to get in and out, even if you're playing with friends that like, I play with friends that are just like super like, I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
behind, I'm gonna watch what you're doing, and I'm gonna call it everything. And the second that I see any trouble, I'm pulling the lever.
Yeah.
And it like RPing it hard, right? And it's
Yeah.
just like if you get into that zone, it's still super fun. Like to your
Yes.
point, Eric, where it's just like even if you just get in and get out, it's just like if you RP that, you can have a lot of fun because you're gonna get to like the 5th day and it's gonna be like $580 for you to get, and it's just be like, guess what, motherfucker? We have to dive deep now.
Yeah.
And that's where it just gets nuts. And that's so like there's fun to be had no matter what. And I get that. But at its core, and I'm sorry if I'm over talking you a little bit here, Bull. But at its
Go
core,
ahead.
that game is basic. And it's just like
Yes.
that's what gets
Don't
me
get
too
me wrong.
much.
Not to mention
don't get me
that
wrong.
it requires mods in order to make the
Yes.
game more fun. Because
Yes.
at
More
its
fun.
base though, it's got limitations. There's problems. And this
Yes. There's problems.
this is an honorable mention for multiple reasons on mine, but primarily because this is not version 1 of the game.
No, it's
This
not.
is super
This-
early in the
yes.
build on it. It has tons of issues. You cannot join a ship if it's already in there. So if you started off with 3, you have to completely shut down the lobby,
Yep,
reopen
and
the
then
lobby,
open
then
it.
bring in the 4th person in.
Yep.
It's got a lot of issues that need
It
to be
does.
fixed.
It's got a lot of issues. And if my list was based off the issues of a game, let's be honest, this game would be nowhere near my top 10 for this year. But if we're going off of just pure enjoyment, the laughter I've had from playing this game, just the fun I've had, the hours of just playing this game, it's up there. And this year, I've told myself I'm playing games not to be critical. I'm playing games that I want to have fun with, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I feel like I've had so much fun in the short amount of time I've played Lethal Company. Now, will that last? Who knows? I thought I was going to hit 1,000 hours in Phasmo. It's this year. I said, this month, I was like, you know what? Phasmo, I'm done. This is like,
Yeah,
So-
but you also were like very much like, no, I'm not playing Phasmo. I'm not a Phasmo streamer. Like you put a
Yeah.
lockdown on your stream specifically
Yes.
because you didn't want to be known as a Phasmo streamer. Because
Phasmo streamer.
I will admit,
Mhm.
some of the community is toxic as fuck.
Yes,
but
it is.
Yeah.
at the
But
same
I don't-
point, you kind of did that to yourself with.
I
with
did that to
Phasmo.
myself. I don't see myself doing that with Lethal Company though, because I have other games I have to play and stuff like that. Phasmo got to a point where it's like, well, I can play this game or I can take the easy route and play Phasmo, right?
And don't get me wrong, I love Lethal Company. I've been playing
Yeah.
a lot of it and I love it. It's great. But I don't think that it was top 5 for me.
Yeah.
Because
And
of
like I
those
said-
issues.
Mhm.
But hey, this
Yeah.
is your list.
But yeah,
And like I said, it's not gonna be on everyone's top 5. It's probably not gonna be everyone's top 10. But for me, with all the fun I've had this year, I'm gonna enjoy a top 2 with the number 2 there.
No, it's a great game. Everyone buy Lethal Company so that they have money to keep making the game better.
There's
Yes.
the best advice of this entire thing right there. Everyone buy this
Yes.
game so there's more shit to do
Support
because it's
indie-
super fucking
support
fun.
indie devs, please.
I don't even know how many
Support-
people are making this. I'm assuming it's a very small team, just like with
No,
yeah, so one,
it's
just like
one
Phasmo.
person.
Just one
It's
person.
a one
making it.
person.
Oh, you
Like
don't
how
get this
Phasmo got
popular
started.
looking like dog shit without being just one person.
Nah, it's a one person team. Give this person the money so they can keep like making this game better. It is when they say early access, it is early access. This game, they'll probably say, "Oh yeah, this is the beta version." No, this is alpha. There's too many problems. But if you just want like an hour of just like laughter, with your friends,
It's
did
not
you
gonna
know
be
are
an
going
hour.
to it's not going to be an hour.
It's
It's-
gonna turn
if
into
you-
6 real
Yeah,
easily.
Cool, it really easy.
You guys hit on something very important there because I've run into a few friends that are just like, I didn't like the game. It was stupid and boring and dumb. And I'm just like, why? Did you not have good friends? Who'd you play with? And he's like, no, I played by myself.
No,
Do
Like,
not
that's why.
play
Do
this
not.
game by
No.
yourself.
No,
Like it
you are
is
not.
pointless, it's boring,
No.
it is stupid.
Do
Like
not.
it
Do
is
not be like Insum, who's doing the solo Lethal Company runs, and I'm looking at
Oh
his streams like,
Jesus.
bro,
Oh, jeez,
come
you really
on,
doing
man.
that?
Yeah,
it's
he
boring.
does.
It is
It's
not
boring.
entertaining whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like
Because
all of
it's
it
all
comes
about
from
the
your
interaction.
interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't
literally
played the game.
literally the best interactions I've had is I'm talking to someone on walkie-talkie. They say something, their walkie-talkie completely cuts out because like, oh shit.
They got dead.
Bracken got him.
Oh, my favorite is you're watching your friend and they're still talking to you. Like, hey, I'm gonna drop this off over here. Hey, where are you at? What are you doing? Are you dead? It's just
You're like, oh, or
yes,
the-
I
one
am.
Or
one
some of
moments
the
I had
mods.
playing-
Some
Yeah,
of the
some
mods.
are great.
Some of the Skinwalker mod is fucking
Guys.
amazing. There's a great clip
Yeah.
on my Twitch channel that we have of where I'm playing the game. One of the people tells me like, "Oh, Space is dead," and I'm like, "What?" Like, yeah, Space is dead. And then right after that, there's an audio clip that it recorded of Space singing the Little Einstein theme song, and we're like, "Get the fuck out now!" So
Run.
it's fun. It's just that's
It's
a
a fun
mod
game.
though. So
Yeah.
It's
I-
fun.
yeah.
I can't. I think this is one of the games that I can't wait to see what it looks like next year. Right?
Yes.
If it can continue on the hype it has right now,
Who knows when
and
version
the-
1.0 is going to come
Yeah,
out? How
I
long
don't
has
think
Phasmo
it's
been
going
doing it?
Oh, oh my god!
I honestly don't think it's going to.
Seabox
But
finally
I
gonna come
love
out version 1.0 next year.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's great already. So
but yeah, Lethal Company. You know what? Just congrats to this guy. You made
good job.
a game that's big on Twitch. It's hard to do that.
Yes.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to keep that momentum going. That's the other thing. There's a lot of games that make it big on Twitch, and then it's like a week later they're just no longer there.
Yeah.
Lethal Company is still going right now.
I think
I'm
the
good on him for that.
All right. Jason, number 2.
All right. After all the hate and discussion and stuff like that, my number 2 is Final Fantasy 16.
Basically
fucking love
making
this
me
game.
think that he's not got it on the list because I'm an asshole for putting this at number 3 because of all these things that are
It
wrong with the game.
It would have been worse though. It would have been worse for him to talk all that shit and then number 1 he said Final Fantasy 16.
But you know it's not going to be
what
number
the
1.
fuck?
I'm pretty certain
No.
we all have the same number 1. It's
We
going to
have-
make
pretty
the
sure we do, too.
discussion
Yeah.
really easy.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be like, I'm gonna be the asshole. It's not gonna put that as my number 1, but I was like, you know what? No.
No.
Let's give the game
it
its
deserves
due.
the
Call a
game
spade a
deserves it.
spade, Jason. It's number
Yeah,
1.
it deserves it's just so fucking good. Anyway, Final Fantasy 16, like Eric, you hit a lot of good points. I hit a lot of good points on like the negative, but I think the reason why I went so hard on you, Eric, is because I really wanted to exemplify on how fucking good the combat is.
Yes.
Like it is so goddamn satisfying. It is so goddamn satisfying in a fantasy setting. I've never experienced such satisfying combat in any capacity in a fantasy setting before.
With
period.
swords and magic.
And that's what has solidified this to me as like, yes, number 2. And obviously it's not number 1 because of the myriad of reasons I've mentioned already. Like it is just like there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with this game, but it was just like, but goddamn, if loving you is wrong, then goddamn you do it right because it is just so good. I just can't stop thinking about this game. It lives rent free for a lot of reasons. Like I said, that Titan battle, I am just like, I'm getting a chubby just thinking about it right now because it is just like so fucking amazing of a battle. And each boss battle is great. Some are better than the others, of course. And it's not all bangers all the time and all your combat and stuff like that. Yes, there can be some dregs, but it's up to you to make that fun. It like during the slog of the fucking side quest that they did, that was my opportunity to be like, I'm going to try the combos that I don't use right now because I can easily just attack these enemies to death. Like I don't have to do anything fun. So I'm going to make it different for me. So I'm pushed myself to enjoy this game more. And it was at the end of the day, even better. And that I think just exemplified the game to me of just like, hey, they made something here that if you put in the effort, you will have a game that you love. And the game that you love, Eric, is probably different than the game that I love, than what
No,
Jack
pretty
loves,
similar, I think.
Bull.
I will say,
You didn't like Titan. I loved fucking Titan.
I
Counter
liked
blocking was my
Titan.
number one.
I liked Titan for the most part. There were some things that annoyed me with the combat, but I liked the Titan fight. I will say though that it wasn't all just the the big summon battles that were epic. The fight that you have against Sleipnir was great.
Yeah.
That battle was amazing. I loved it, and that's just a singular mano a mano fight. Mm-hmm. That one was really, really good.
And a great story. We've already covered that. Like, it's a good story, and it deserves to be told and experienced. So I mean, those two things alone. Is it the best Final Fantasy? God, no. No. Is it a good game? Yes.
It's a great game. Yeah. Number 2. That's good. I agree, Jason. And it would be number 2 if I didn't play this game as well this year, which still counts. So as we said, we count games that came out in December of the previous year because there is a very good chance that we didn't get a chance to play this game.
Yeah.
Like end of the year is like a bullshit time for us.
Yeah.
So
it's too close to actually end of the year to make it to the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you got holidays, you got all sorts of stuff. You got games that you're already playing that you've been trying to squeeze in,
and
for everything.
And we're
else.
scheduling this podcast at the end of the year, where it's in the month anyway. So
yeah. So my number 2 is Marvel's Midnight Suns, which
I knew you were gonna put that on your list.
Combat is amazing. It does require that you enjoy the XCOM style combat because it's from the people that make XCOM. Combat is great. The character development and the dialogue is some of the best writing that I've had in a game. Writing that is both like poignant to where like it actually shows emotion and it makes you feel what the characters are doing, but then also is totally fine with writing the weird ass dialogue in Deadpool or the weird quirkiness of Robbie Reyes and Peter Parker. Like they did such a good job of writing every individual character to be exactly what it is that it was amazing. It is probably the best Marvel game that I've ever played. It's not really a high bar in a lot of cases. You got like the X-Men game, like cabinet game, and that's kind of about it. But it was an amazing ass game. Loved it. Graphics, it's amazing. There's some issues that could have been done or could have been made better if they sold more copies of the game, unfortunately. And they didn't sell enough copies of the game to be able to fully continue on with adding on and tweaking the game more and more and adding in new cards and all sorts of stuff. But it's still a great 100% playable, really amazing game to play through. I highly recommend it. It is going to be long because you're going to have some long battles because it is completely turn-based, and just like we were talking about with XCOM earlier, you have a 95% chance of hitting and then you miss because you had to roll a 3 and you rolled a 2. So it's an amazing game. Highly recommend it. Streamed a fuck ton of it on this channel. I loved it so much. There's very little bad things about it that I can say. Everything was really great within it. Character interactions, dialogue, gameplay, graphics, everything on point. Awesome.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. It's a Marvel's fans like best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna love this game. You play that game, it's like, oh shit, I know this character. Oh, that's from this comic book series and all that. It's a fun game.
Oh, collecting all the comic book covers, like the actual
Mhm.
comic book covers, giving the gifts, all of that was amazing. If you're an MCU fan but haven't really read comics and you think that Tony Stark is a cocky asshole, you
Oh,
have
he is.
no idea how cocky Tony Stark can
Mhm.
get, and this game encapsulates
Yeah.
it perfectly. The only difference is that this is post-alcoholism Tony. This is
Yep.
this is after Tony dropped the sauce. And they
Mhm.
make a very good point that there is a bar that everybody hangs out with, but Tony only stocked it because he's the one paying for it with soda.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
And yeah, like every character is written really well for it. Dialogues are written really well for it. They even used the voice actress of Nico from the Runaways TV show,
Yep.
which I hope that if they actually bring Nico into the MCU, that they use her because she did a really good job in Runaways. She was like the only
Mhm.
shining point of that crappy ABC Family show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like she did an amazing job and she encapsulated Nico perfectly well. Yelena, who is Colossus's sister, was awesome in it too. Or not Yelena. Yelena is Black Widow's sister. Fuck, I'm forgetting now. Magic is her
Mhm.
X-Men name, but it's all amazing and
Mhm.
it encapsulates so
Mhm.
many different aspects of the Marvel comic books from all sorts of different areas. Highly
Yep.
recommend it. All right. Before we
So
get to
honorable
number one,
mentions.
we're gonna do honorable mentions. Yes.
Yep.
So we'll start with you, Chris. So it'll come back around to me, and then I'll start off with number one.
Okay. So my honorable mention was a game I really sucked at, and I sucked at as a kid too. Really liked this game. It finally came back. Very difficult game from game developer that likes really difficult games. It's Encore 6, Fires of Rubicon.
That is a good honorable mention. Um, Shout outs to Armor Core 6 for coming out. And I'm glad more people are getting to play the Armored Core series
Yep.
and realizing, oh, this is brutal difficulty.
Yes. This is
And from a
real mech
From
combat.
Software
Like,
game, it's supposedly like less difficult than
yeah.
most. And
Yes.
it's just like, no, you have to remember that, like, all right, From Software, Dark Souls and all stuff like that. Just like it's a 2D plane. Like, yes, you can jump and stuff like that, but it's still at the end of the day a 2D
A
plane.
2D
They're
plane.
not going to do that. In Armored Core, no, they
No.
fucking
No.
fly all the fuck
Yeah.
around you.
Yep.
And
Just like,
Armored Core
oh,
games
can
have
I
always
move
been
around?
hard.
Like, no, drop down.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
they've
they've
always
always
been
been
hard.
hard. They've always been hard. It's a true like successor to the series. They finally came with another one, and it it's everything I wanted in the game, and I still suck at it.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
only thing worse than a Souls-like game where you fight a boss and you die and then you have to run back to it to get your souls is an Armored
Yeah.
Core game where you go through a long, grueling battle to
Mhm.
die at the very end, and then you go back. You didn't lose any XP, but you have to do that all over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not, you don't hate it. It's a great fight,
Yeah.
but man, you
Mhm.
have to do that entire battle all over.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Bull. How many honorable
All
mentions
right.
you got? What do you got?
I just got two I want to talk about. First off, Harvest Island, Stardew Valley Horror. Fun story, good game. A little bit more work. This is one of those indie devs, just like, he's almost there. They're almost there. The game's gonna be almost great. Just a little bit more work. And then a game that came out, the finals. I'm only playing this is a fun shooter
Mm.
with its destructible environment. I've had a lot of fun. Is it like top 5 worthy? No, but it's fine.
All right, Jason.
That's it.
Yep,
Oh
that's
shit!
it.
All right. Well, my I only have one, and that I really want to give a shout because you guys already hit on a whole bunch of them. Obviously, Lethal Company, Armor Core, both were
Mhm.
amazing, but not top 5 for me.
Yeah.
And then the one that I
Mhm.
haven't mentioned is Dave the Diver.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
super fun. It's interesting gameplay, interesting mechanics around it. Moonlighter. It is, if you liked Moonlighter, you're gonna love Dave the Diver, because it's the same idea, but it's fishing and diving.
Mhm.
And I
diving.
wish it was harder. I wish it was harder, and I wish that it was a little bit more, not action oriented. That's the wrong terminology, but it's just like it felt like it was on kiddie wheels the entire time.
Yeah.
Just like experience the story, and it's just like, but that's not what I want to do. I want to do a game. I obviously also, not obviously, but I also unfortunately played on the Switch, and it is dog shit on the Switch because it takes up to
Yeah.
20 to 30 seconds to load.
You mean
any
like
scene.
every game on the Switch now?
Like every game. Yeah. So I mean that dogged it down a little bit for me, because just like there'll be times where just like, hey, we're gonna load a scene for you to have a cutscene. It'll be like 5 lines of dialogue. Cool. Now we gotta load the next scene. It'll be also 5 lines of dialogue. And then after that scene, we're gonna load where you can dive in, and that'll be 30 seconds in. Each scene is 30 seconds of load time. It's just like, Jesus, I just want to play this fucking game. Anyway,
Yeah.
love the game.
Like
though.
WRC.
Fine.
All right, I have 2. One is Honkai Star Rail, which is a good game. It's fun to play. You can get really deep into it and play it on your PC or on your console and like really go through. Or if you just need to grind some stuff, you can do it easily on your phone, which is awesome. It makes breaking up a lot of the monotony of grinding and using up a lot of the stuff much easier to handle than what you get with, say, like Genshin Impact, because of the fact that it's a turn-based game and not an action RPG. Great game, really fun. I think that if you like RPGs, it's good to give it a try, specifically on that front. Yes, it is a gacha game, but just, don't throw gobs and gobs of money into the game and be a gambling addict.
There you go.
It's the
Yep.
best.
Easy. Oh,
it's the
that's all.
Best,
That's all you have to do.
That's the best like advice that I can give you on that is just don't be a gambling addict.
Don't be a will.
And yes, Chad
Just
is
some
right.
help.
Chad is right. The gacha is actually not bad. It actually has a really good pity system to go along with it. It's better than most gacha games that you're going to find out there, so that's fine. And second is Spider-Man 2, which I would assume would be higher up on this list, except for one major problem for me. We had decided a while ago that we were going to buy that for Ronan for Christmas. So if Ronan's getting it for Christmas, I can't buy it twice because I'm not that dumb. So it did not enter this house until December 25th.
It wasn't for me because I am deep superhero like hungover.
Yeah,
I am just like, started playing Spider-Man 2, and I was just like already tired of it. Like the first battle, I was just like, this is the same. It looks cool, yes, but I've now played this over 2 games that it's just like, I am not enough that I care, and I will get through it. And I know it does expand out, and playing between the two and being able to switch, that sounds neat. I'm excited for it. I will get there. It's just at this time, I didn't put the time into it, just like you with Sea of Stars. I haven't put the time into it to really say anything about it. But to me, it's just like, I am just like, I don't care anymore. I'm just not there.
That was almost my entry point into getting a PS5. I'm like, man, we should get a PS5. I can get on this deal with Spider-Man. Like, it's like, we don't need that. I'm like, you're right, we don't.
Well, and the great thing, story-wise, the only bad thing that
Girl's already ruining your life, man.
And the only thing that
she's a huge Spider-Man fan, so I was like, well, maybe a PS5 just for this, and get some more.
I don't think Spider-Man 2 is a console seller for me.
Well, the only thing bad that I've heard from the story is that people were pissed off that they build it as a completely different story than what it ends up being. And as I said before, I'm like, why the fuck are you complaining about this? You think that they're just going to tell you who the big bad is going to be when they want it to be a twist? No. They're going to bill it as this villain, and then when you get into it, it's going to end up being this villain.
Which is better. That's not my problem. My problem is just like, I've seen this game. I've played this game. It's a good game. But I have other
To-
games to do.
Yeah, I was just
To
saying
be
that that's the
fair-
only bad thing I've heard about the story, though. Like, is
Yeah.
that everybody else loves the story?
Yeah. To be fair, if I had PS5, I might play it, but
Mhm.
another game came out, Alan Wake 2, and honestly, I'm with Jason. I'm like just exhausted from all the superhero games, and I'd rather play Alan Wake 2 where I know I'm going to enjoy the story a lot more. Like, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man 2, like you said, it's a great game, but I've heard that story over and over. It's a
Yeah.
superhero story. Alan Wake 2 is an experience that I want to enjoy. That's not really a story like Alan Wake 2 right now out there. Once I get around to it, I'm going to be playing Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
But
My
I'm
problem
just exhausted with superheroes.
my problem with Alan Wake is the first one. I did not like the movement for it. Like
Yep.
the
That
mechanics
was
for
the
it was
limitation of the
fair.
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
But I mean,
it was like,
t-
Alan Wake 2 is probably great. Like I could maybe get into that, but like I just didn't like not.
You should
Did you
give the
play Control,
remaster a
though?
try.
if you play
Chris.
Yeah.
Control, though, you can't play Control and then be like, oh, Alan Wake 2 is gonna be dog shit, because my biggest like shame moment for this year is Alan Wake 2, because just like I slept on Control, and then when I
Yeah.
finally played it, I was just like, holy fucking shit, this game was
Yeah.
amazing. Like I
Same.
was pissed at myself for not playing this when it first came out. And of course, I think Alan Wake is suffering just from release, not because of
Yeah.
other games that are out there, but just because of my own
Yeah.
personal timeline. I just
Yeah.
haven't been able to pick it up, and I'm already angry at
Same.
myself. I'm just like, I know this game's amazing. I need to play it.
Well, and
I
not just
honestly-
that, they
yeah.
barely did
Yeah.
any fucking marketing for it.
No,
I
they
didn't
did
even
not.
realize that it came out until
Yeah.
I saw somebody streaming it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's out now.
Yeah.
I thought that was coming out
honestly
till next
feel
year.
like I honestly feel like if it had came out earlier in the year, this my whole list would have been different, right?
Yeah, I think so
Um,
too.
But
Mhm.
the way it came out, the marketing, the barely the marketing that was for this game, it's one of those reasons like cool, it came out, but I'm gonna have to wait till next year to play it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind
Yeah.
of too late.
I just
to
have
play
a
it now.
poor taste in my mouth right now. Like I
Yeah,
played
and that's fair.
in somewhat of Alan Wake 1 on became free on Epic, like, and it's just like it was just hard mechanic wise for me.
Yep,
Like
and that's completely
I
fair.
played a few
I can-
hours and like I'm like I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so I got that poor taste in my mouth.
Well, and for
Yeah,
me,
and
I'm just holding off on playing it until I upgrade my processor, because I know that I'm going to be limited frame rate
Yeah.
wise with my computer on that game. So I'm just like, I'm not even going to attempt it until I get a new processor.
Yeah, like luckily now I'm good on that processor part because I upgraded that recently. But
Yeah. Just so you can play
Okay.
Dumb Train game.
my like 8-year-old
Wait, hold on,
processor, whatever
hold on,
it was,
hold on,
6 or
hold on,
8
hold
years,
on.
like
Hold on. If I know what Chris's number one is, and I think I know what it is, I still went with the under.
Yeah, I'm
on
pretty
Trey.
certain that you won with the under. Okay,
We're all
we're gonna
under-
go to
we're all
number
under-
one.
We're all
Okay,
number
'cause I
one.
think we all have the same number one. I
all
think.
right, number one. Show of hands. Who voted for Bear Fucking Simulator?
2 hands.
2
Way,
hands.
way up.
This is the very first clean sweep, I think. We've gotten
Yes.
I think it is,
twinsies on a
100%.
lot of
Yeah,
things, but this is the
100%.
first clean sweep that we've ever had for the number one game.
It deserves it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This year was a clear number one game for everyone.
And-
It's Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean,
This-
I had some issues with my top 3 of where I put things, like because I talk about Station way too fucking much.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed Dredge, talk about that a lot, but I chose that over Station because it had, continued story, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And had a lot more kind of that kind of stuff like that going on for it. Station is a great game, you should still play it. And Baldur's Gate 3, just looking at, like, not how much I talk about it, like, because still talk about fucking a lot, but, like, just every aspect of it was just so good. Like, it just, all of our different playthroughs were different.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't think we.
Everything's different. Like, you can make a choice early in the game, and yeah, that's a companion character. No, not
Yeah.
companion character anymore, because
That right there
You can
is the
leave
number
them.
one reason why this was such an impactful game for me. Is that like your choices that you make in this
Mhm.
game, anytime, will have reverberating impacts throughout the entire experience, and it gets brought up multiple times. I remember the first time I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and there's that character that'll tell you about your characters from 2 and 1 Dragon Age Origin, and that to me, I was just like, oh my god, this is like the best thing to hear about my characters from games 20 years ago, and then to experience that live in the game was just breathtaking, and in ways that you had no idea that would be impactful. Like, in just like, oh, and by the way, this small thing that you did that you probably forgot about, no, we remembered, and it's crucial now. And it's just like, holy fuck! All right, sweet. I'm glad I said that, because you just had no idea. And that to me is just such great game building, storytelling that I've never experienced out of live D&D. Like, I've never experienced this level of gameplay in a scripted game. And that to me, like, this game could have looked like dog shit. This could have been a DOS game. And I would have been like, holy fuck. I'm like, Shart is still number 1. Sounds great. Until you find the bear, then the bear's also great. But the druid aside, Shart and although they're all good. They're all good. Like, all right, how many people have multiple saves depending on who you want to romance? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I have multiple different saves of who I want to romance all over the place. And it's just like, it is. And romance is just such a small part of it. Like, there's like so many things that I've tried to do. Like, we've talked about this before. It's so hard for me to play bad. Like, and stuff like that. And when I destroyed the gorge, or not the gorge, whatever it's called, and stuff like that in Act 1, it was just like, it was irking me so
when
bad.
you destroyed the grove, you mean?
Grove, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It was irking me so bad, but I was just like, I gotta get her. Like I gotta have the people. My favorite though is when you kill. Oh fuck, I can't remember. I've had like too much whiskey. What's her name? The
Minthara.
Minthara. If you kill her, loot her and take her underwear, because you can wear that shit, and that is the best cutscene material that you will ever have. That is fantastic. Her underwear is amazing.
Her underwear is amazing.
Yeah, I just have to give it to Baldur's Gate 3 for reviving what I thought was a dead genre of games.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because let's be honest, there's not a lot. There's a ton of games like Baldur's Gate 3, but they've all failed because people have lost interest. Either the story is just not good, the character's not good. Baldur's Gate 3 basically said, we're going to take this genre, we're going to give you the best of this genre, and you're going to play hours upon hours on it. And they were right. It's an amazing game. It's a once in a lifetime game, I feel like, almost in this case.
They took a niche genre that was basically just the Pathfinder games.
Yep.
And
the Divinity games and
the Divinity games here and Original Sins, yep.
Yeah, Divinity and Pathfinder was like the two big dogs. And then they elevated to Game of the Year status. Like, best of everything. Like, it's niche, and now it's best.
Yep.
And I was like, honestly, maybe I do like genre. Maybe I should have played those Pathfinder games, or Divinity, or these other games, or Rogue Trader.
Yeah, and it's a game that is so good that I actively thought of ways that I could make it so that it's accessible for my 11-year-old to play, and without having problems doing it. And they put in a lot of the pieces that are in there already to make sure that that you can kind of like censor it as much as they can, and then you can censor it as much as you can with everything else. And we're like, Ronan loves the game. It's an amazing game to play through. And going back to what Jason said, as far as like making bad decisions, when we talked about on the podcast previously, Ronan mistakenly told Gale that he wasn't going to give him anything to eat, and Gale just fucking left. Yeah, and he is gone. And this is like very early in Act 1. He is just gone, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Yep. I love that it's a game that basically just say, your choices have consequences. They might be small consequences, but they have consequences.
Yep.
Or they might snowball into something else.
Or they might snowball, right? Baldur's Gate is really good at doing the snowball effect, where that tiny choice you picked that you didn't like put a second thought to is gonna somehow come back later to bite you in the ass. Or it can
just
help
finding Gale. Just
Like,
like reach out for the hand. It's just like, okay. Like that blows my
Like-
mind that he's a core character, or could be a core character. And it's just such a small, like easily missable thing. Like
Yeah,
easily.
they could be a core character, but they don't tell you that.
Yeah. To be
That's
fair,
one thing I like about the like Metro series is like, oh, you just react and you shoot this guy, like, but that is a negative point that you don't know about, and it changes your ending.
Yeah, to be fair, none of the characters in this game are safe. You can do whatever you can do whatever you want. Like Karlach, the most lovable character I feel like in that game at some point.
Full on golden retriever energy.
Yeah, you could kill.
Love that.
You can literally kill Karlach.
Mm-hmm.
You can the first time you meet her, you could just kill her.
Yeah. If you don't want demon will, you have to.
And if you want a complete part of one of the other characters' like main directives, you have to do it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like the just the thought and the amount of like work has gone into this game. Just that wherever you think to yourself like, no, they didn't think about that. That choice can't be in the game. It's like, no, it's there.
Yeah.
And if you pick this choice, things are going to happen.
Yep.
And there are weird ass because it's 100% voice acted completely through every dialogue. And they've thought through so many different things of like, okay, well, what if you do this while you're doing it? Like in mid conversation, you come out and you bring one of your characters over, and then that character does this to it. And then it completely changes the dialogue that goes into it.
I want to say as a DM, I was so happy when you do speak with dead and you've killed the person and you speak to dead and it basically goes like, oh, the body is willing to talk, but not to you. And you're like, yes. As a DM, I would have been like, yeah, you killed him. Why the fuck would he want to talk to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
such a good game. I think we could all probably spend an hour talking about our experiences and different random bullshit we've run into. And I think that like really just speaks to why this game is number one. I mean, like there's a reason why it's unanimous for the first time ever. And I think that's an achievement of its own for this game. And I'd be the first achievement of being like the first game we've all finally actually agreed on. I mean, think about it. Like our top 5, like we've all been pretty all over the place. I mean, yeah, we've had some mixes, but not on the same level. We have nothing, like everything else was not the exact same except for our number 1. And that speaks volume.
And it deserves it.
Congratulations.
We only had 2 double ups.
Yeah, 2 double ups.
The Invincible and Final Fantasy 16. That's it.
Yep.
Beyond that,
we're not on the same spots.
Yeah, not on the same spots though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's again just speaks to the volume of how impactful this game is. Like even if you're just a COD, FIFA, Madden bro, and that's all that you ever play. Number 1, how the hell did you find our podcast and why you're listening this long?
Because we talk shit about you all the time.
Now go play this game.
I mean, I do kind of like
still
FIFA
find
a little bit
something.
sometimes.
You'll still find something. You'll find it.
Yeah, but you play more than that, Chris.
Yeah, but we also have to give credit to.
I could see FIFA bros finding us through me.
True.
Well, because you're the conduit of all FIFA. Yeah.
No, kind of.
But we also have to give credit to Baldur's Gate 3 when it comes to Twitch. This was the game where I saw streamers who are primarily, their Counter-Strike, Valorant, or just chatting, being like, "Hey, I have to play this game. If I'm not, everyone's playing this game. I have to play this game," and keep them entertained as well, right? Until they like finished it. I don't think we're ever going to see another game like Baldur's Gate 3. I don't
not
think
for a long
so.
time.
Yeah, not for a really long time.
Yeah.
And this is Baldur's Gate 3 is what happens when you let a studio take their time and finish a game. Yes, it's a AAA game. Yes, they had a ton of money backing it up. I also backed them up. But they took their time, right?
Well, and they had a lot of money backing it up because of people that paid for early access in the game.
Yeah.
And
that's another thing.
yeah,
They took what they took what they learned from the early access and improved the game even more. The early access was already good, and they say, "Wait, we can improve it. Thank you for your feedback." So it's a great game, great community, and I can't
Great fucking
wait.
job.
Great fucking job! I can't wait to
Yep.
see what comes from this game. Like it's they already have fixed issues, like small issues that the fans already had. They've already gone back and fixed it. They've added more since the last time I played it. So I just can't wait to see what's next for this game.
And it's a game and studio that did so well that it forced Microsoft to go, okay, fine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same on the Series S.
Yes.
Yeah. They forced Microsoft to make compromises.
Yeah. I mean, Microsoft will do anything to sell consoles right now, so that's kind of here and there. But yes, they forced it, and I think that in itself was a win.
Yeah.
They proved that the Xbox Series S is really stupid and shouldn't have been a fucking console.
It should
Yeah,
not.
the one way discourse I'm in, like, is like, look, to have Xbox like, oh yeah, this is actually, yes, this deserved Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real
it's that type of game, even with every other game, like every other studio, every other publisher is like, yeah, that was the Game of the Year. Like,
Yep.
It's a once of a decade game.
Yes, once in a decade. You
Like
always get those games. You're like,
maybe
yeah,
Half-Life.
Yeah. You always get those one games every
Yeah.
decade. It's like, yep, this was the Game of the Year. This defined 2023.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us for the IBIF First podcast and for our 2023 wrap up. And thank you very much, Bulldog, for joining us as well as an honorary member of IBIF First. He's even got that privilege in the Discord, too. But you can watch Bulldog play all sorts of games, but especially, as he talked about, playing through every Final Fantasy game on Mondays over at the Bulldog Omega on Twitch and also the Bulldog Omega on YouTube. So if you want to watch his VODs and everything like that, it's all over there on YouTube as well.
Yep. Thank you for having me. Like you said, I've been playing every Final Fantasy game with Nevi of Flame. Yeah, come and check it out. Hopefully next year, a lot more streaming. This year was I stepped away a little bit from the streaming, halfway through the year. But yeah, it's always fun to be on this podcast. Either we're arguing about shit or we're saying fuck Bobby Cox. It's always a great time.
All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us. I think we talked about this previously, but we want to make sure that it's out there. We are taking a hiatus after this. We are going to be gone for at least a few months. This one, an actually planned one, instead of us continually getting sick over and over again, and it ending up being like a 2.5 month hiatus.
I love to be on the last podcast before the hiatus.
So we will be taking a hiatus.
You were last year too, Bull. It's just that it wasn't a planned one.
Yeah.
This time we're just being like, you know what? Let's just call spade a spade. Let's move on.
Yeah. I feel severely sick,
like,
and it wasn't COVID, which was the funny thing.
I feel like when I'm on people's streams, they're like, for some reason, the next couple of days, they're like, you know what? I should probably go on break.
You have that experience with people, Bull.
Yep.
Just know that we planned this one. If you want to watch, Chris and Jason may or may not be streaming on this channel for a while, but I will be streaming over on my channel, Batosai_IBIF. So if you want to go over there and pop in and yell at me and, make fun of me for sucking at games, you can do that. So make sure that you head on over there. But thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. People that are on Twitch, please stick around. We will be raiding out to go share the love to somebody else. And we will be doing the exercises that got dropped in. But without that, we can't end any podcast without Chris saying,
"This is your final goodbye. Bye-bye."
Fuck my Cox.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Chris. Amazing. Absolutely.
All right. We have 10 push-ups that we have to do, and then we are raiding into space because that is what Dremis has requested.
All right, sounds
You
good.
guys get to see my Star Wars PJ pants. Seven, 8, 9, 10.
Nice job, guys. Nice job.
You guys couldn't see it. I should have lifted my head up so that it followed me down.
Yeah.
So my camera followed me down when I did it.
Is it 10?
Yeah, just 10. Just 10. What do you mean I'm such a nerd? How am I such a nerd?
We're all nerds.
Yeah. I did tweak my tricep a little bit, so that kind of hurt a little. But all right. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us, and we will be raiding into space _ babe. Wait, why are we holding up?
Probably gonna give us more.
My Michigan hoodie? My
Oh.
amazing Michigan hoodie? Because little brother sucks? Suck it, Dremis. All right, bye, everybody!